like the nuts and bolts of the Korean Baseball League. I got in trouble. The program director says, I don't think anybody cares about that. If we're talking about that, we're in trouble. And I was like, hello, it's a joke, but okay. We won't spend all day talking about Korean baseball.
How about that KBO?
Those Datsun Bear, Danson Bear, what are they? The something bears.
Yeah, I got to admit, I was excited for about a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the same energy level as I think Carl Ravitch doing those games.
Right. But what we do have to talk about today, not Korean baseball, but the 49ers on the short week. It was interesting yesterday, Gare, as I'm sure you heard, Kyle Shanahan addressing the media, and he was trying to explain what it's like getting ready for an NFL game on a short week. And he said, guys, I'm kind of at a loss here when I can't swear. And he said, it's a something show getting ready for a game on a short week. And there's a real window into Kyle Shanahan up there. Sometimes, coaches, they devolve into coach speak, if you will, and they can't always tell us everything. But every so often, he will really tell you exactly what he's thinking. And I think that was a good example of it right there.
Yeah, you know what? There's sometimes like he feels like he's normal.
Yeah.
He's a human, and he doesn't talk like a robot.
Yeah.
Thursdays are wacky. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. Now, in this case, I know what's going to happen tomorrow night. When you have 4 starters out for the Giants, This is, get ready. This is in the neighborhood of the 35-10. But he's right. We talked about it yesterday, is you got to get your body right. That's the most important thing about playing from Sunday to Thursday. But weird stuff happens. But in this case, all I can imagine is Kyle Shanahan showing some personality at the podium. He had just gotten done looking at New York Giant film.
Right.
And he's like salivating. He's like, this is great. I love the Giants. How come we can't play them more?
Mm-hmm. I know yesterday you had said, maybe it was Monday, you were talking about a 10.5-point line. I saw somewhere this morning that it was down to 10, which I couldn't believe that. If that's the case, some free advice for you. You might want to jump on that number. That's down to 10, right? I mean, you gotta take advantage of that. If that's, if you're into legal wagering.
I think so. And I also think you go the over. Here's the thing can you do the voice for me?
Yeah. What do you need?
Daniel Jones is 1-10 in primetime games.
Daniel Jones, sources in Costa Rica say Daniel Jones is 1-10 in primetime games. So call right now, toll-free number. We'll give you this winner for free. That's right. Absolutely free.
Hey, the only guy that is better than Daniel Jones in primetime, and he's not really a better, but he's like around the same as Andy Dalton. You like Andy Dalton? You like Daniel Jones? Take your pick. 1-800-444-6-GO-BET.
What is going on with Andy Dalton and the Carolina Panthers? He's like their 4th down quarterback. That kind of slipped under the radar from Monday night. Did you see that where they bring him in on 4th down? What in the world is that? And I'm a big fan of the Red Rifle, but still, even I'm going, what?
What? Shouldn't it be a bigger story that Andy Dalton is still in the league?
No, come on. He's a fine professional.
He was really good at TCU.
He took the Bengals to the playoffs when, I know Burrow does it all the time now, but he did it when it was really hard to do. So not a great quarterback. I remember when there were arguments, hey, who's better, Colin Kaepernick or Andy Dalton? I mean, that was a real debate. Like, oh, boy, it's pretty close. Because they were drafted, I think, right next to each other.
Yeah. He's lasted longer in the league. You're right. When he was with Cincinnati, he was the number 1 quarterback. I mean, he did some big things. He got a home playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
They were good in that division. It's just he's one of those guys that now just kind of hangs around. And when our starter is injured, Dalton is going to finish out the year. But I had not followed him. I knew he was still in the league, but I didn't realize he was in Carolina until he became Mr. 4th down guy.
Right. He's kind of becoming what we thought Sam Darnold was going to become. But Sam Darnold rescued his fate, and now he's with the 49ers, so he's got more potential, perhaps, to improve his lot and improve his legacy, or to even have a legacy. But now Andy Dalton is back there. You're backing up a rookie in Carolina, Red Rifle. Good for you. So
do you think that's a difficult thing? Like guys that have been starters in the NFL at quarterback that are relegated at the end of their career to that role?
I'm sure it is. It's
mentor Bryce Young, please.
Yeah. Don't you think it's got to be very tough? And you have to, if you're going to stay in the league, you got to come to terms with it. You're not a start. No one sees you as a starter anymore. You may, but you're the only one. So you either make the adjustment or goodbye. What's it going to be? And I would think that have to be very tough. Also for any athlete, it's similar to what athletes go through when they retire, because especially for some of them, they're only able to do what they're able to do because everyone tells them they can't. And, and people they're wrong. But then you get to a point where those people are right. And how do you decide? Oh, I guess everyone's right about me now. You're right. I can't play. That must be incredibly difficult.
Yeah. Look at like Sam Darnold's situation.
Yeah.
I mean, Sam Darnold went from Mr. New York Jet to all of a sudden I'm onto my third team and I'm coming to San Francisco. And the only way that I'm going to get extended snaps is if Brock Purdy goes down, and nobody wants that.
Mm-hmm.
But yet there are some that say, well, you know what? In this system, maybe Sam Darnold. Yeah, that's got to be a tough thing. When you're there to be a mentor, to be a backup, you got to be ready to go. But realistically, in the NFL, it's not like you play two quarterbacks and when it's a blowout, the backup comes in. The starter essentially plays the entire game. You have to check it a little bit and look in the mirror and go, this is where I am in my career. At least I'm still in the NFL, and I'm not Carson Wentz.
Yeah. It reminds me a little bit, mixing sports here, Isaiah Thomas, when he was drafted by the Kings, he was Mr. Irrelevant of the NBA draft and very small. And he said, my whole career, even playing pickup, everyone said I couldn't do it. I was too small and I had to prove them all wrong. And he was tremendous. He was very good here. Of course, Boston, he was sensational. Then he got hurt. And once, as a smaller player, once his hip went, he wasn't the same. Yeah. But he, in his mind, you can't just go, oh, you're right, I can't do it. So he still has the same mentality. And then having to come to terms with the fact that, wow, right now, all those people are right. I just can't physically do it. I can't imagine how difficult it is to come to terms with that.
Yeah, I agree. That's the part in your career where reality hits that you're not that guy anymore, but yet you're still serviceable. Speaking of serviceable, did you see Ayuk now has been listed as questionable? I know it's game time decision, but now it's more of a questionable.
I know John Lynch used the term fluid today, so questionable is a little easier to get a handle on. Fluid situation. So you had been advising them to leave him out tomorrow, right? You don't think he should play?
Yeah, I think you keep him in the garage. You don't want a shoulder injury to become more than a 1 week thing. And
right.
I think in this situation, if you look at the matchup and who they have, you could probably keep Ayuk on the sidelines and be serviceable enough on that offense, or at least I would hope. And then you get the extra weekend off. Yeah, no, I think you let him go out there and warm up, but I think you only use him in an emergency situation.
Yeah, and then as far as Saquon Barkley, I'm so embarrassed. I bought it hook, line, and sinker. The Giants had me. I thought, well, maybe he's going to play, and they got me. Gary, they got me.
Hey, you're the one that got that line down to 10.
That's right.
One single trip to Reno last night after the show, and maybe it went from 10.5 to 10.
Man, I wonder if at some point here the 49ers are going to feel like, can we play somebody? It's the NFL. You never overlook anybody. And you made the point a couple of days ago. Look, they're virtually 4-0. I don't know. Some 49er fans might say, don't do that. You're jinxing us. But, if you look at it realistically, they're virtually 4-0. At some point, they want to play somebody, right?
Yeah, and they're going to get that opportunity in 18 days to take on the Cowboys. I don't know. Again, we listed how long it took them to get to 4 wins the last 2 years. I mean, they got a chance tomorrow night to be 3-0 and then to be 4-0 going into week number 5. I don't know. This you play who is in front of you, and it's also how you show out. And I don't think there's any reason to believe that they have not been one of, if not the best team in the NFL through 2 weeks. And then more people will watch them tomorrow night. What'll happen if there'll be a bunch of hot takes on national shows on Friday morning about Purdy, because that's the first time that everybody has eyeballs on the Niners. But they're 2-0, and they should be 3-0 tomorrow night. I mean, the Giants offensively struggle, and defensively they've been a sieve against the Cowboys and the Cardinals, and they don't have 4 starters. It's not just Barkley. They don't have Andrew Thomas, who is one of their tackles. And look at under pressure. The Cowboys pressured Daniel Jones. He was brutal. Arizona wasn't able to pressure Daniel Jones, and he was great. I know you're talking about, man, what about can they get to the quarterback? I think tomorrow night they get to the quarterback, and you see the Daniel Jones that hasn't thrown more than 2 touchdown passes in a game since 19.
Another thing that I'll be keeping an eye on tomorrow, it's really been fascinating to see over the last 5 years, since 2019 when the 49ers went to the Super Bowl, their home field, Levi's Stadium. Levi's had been just kind of they moved in there when things were starting to go the wrong way under Harbaugh. They were there a number of years when they weren't a very good team. It doesn't have a lot of character. I remember when they were opening the 2019 season, their home opener, there was a lot of talk of, come on, fans, you got to get out there and you got to support your team. And it's different now because that team is so much fun to watch. The building still doesn't have a great deal of character, but what's going on inside has been so compelling that they have a real home field advantage now. And it's been I think Kyle Shanahan and the players deserve a lot of credit. The fans do too, but they've kind of created one out of thin air because for years there, that place was just kind of there's no there. And now there is because this team has been so good.
Yeah, you're right about like the aesthetics of the stadium. You look at it and you go, something seems to be missing here.
Right.
But as long as the stuff on the field is going well. Now I see that they have, because of, you had Taylor Swift and then you had Beyonce were in concert there. And then the preseason games, they've got a new turf, new grass field for tomorrow night.
Oh boy. Well, that makes some of us nervous because they have a history at that stadium, as you know, of having issues with the turf. They apparently have gotten that taken care of, but that's what can lead to turf issues is when you got to put the new turf in. So fingers crossed on that front, Gary.
Yeah. Hey, I got one for you. Speaking of, and I don't know why I'm transitioning into this, but this popped in my head because we talked about curses. Do you know, because I looked this up today, and this is the grass turf debate, but maybe it's just football is a brutal game, is the last 4 Monday Night Football games, because I think Aaron Donald probably, if I'm the Rams, should sit out this week in Cincinnati. The last 4 Monday night games, we've had Kyler Murray, DeMar Hamlin, Aaron Rodgers, and Nick Chubb.
Wow. I hadn't realized that. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, if I'm the Rams, I'm leaving Aaron Donald in LA.
Wow. So what are we calling this? What is the reason for this? We have to come up with a name for it. Then it'll become a thing. That's fascinating. It really is.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
It's like scary.
Coming up next year, who needs a week 3 win in the worst way in the NFL? And Gary, we'll see if we can get to the bottom of this Monday Night Football curse. It's Gleason and Sharp, Sactown Sports. We're right back.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
I love being a bartender. I love waiting tables. But at the end of my shift, my feet were killing me. And so I had to pretend like I was having a good time. And really, I couldn't wait to sit down. But it wasn't just my feet. It was also my knees were achy. A lot of neck pain, too. I was in so much pain. I kind of lost hope, really. And then I saw the Good Feet store, and that's when everything changed.
For over 20 years, we've helped people like Kristen enjoy their work again without their feet getting in the way.
It was pretty shocking to realize that I'd been in so much pain, and suddenly I'm completely pain-free. Now that I have the Good Feet arch supports, I don't have to pretend to be happy. I'm genuinely happy. So, cheers. My name is Kristen, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916, Sactown Sports.
We got 49 football tomorrow night for you here on Sactown Sports, of course. The 49ers in the home opener against the New York Football Giants. Gary Sharp, Whitey Gleason with you here on Sactown Sports. Should be another enjoyable, relatively easy win for the 49ers. And it's almost like a homecoming game, hopefully. That's the way it sets up right now, Gary.
It does. It's the home opener. I think it'll be a great atmosphere. And you got a team that's 2-0 playing their, at home the way they've looked. This just feels like I think it'll be. I'm taking the over. The over is at 44.5. I just think this is a moment who you're playing and the way the Giants are. That this will be one of those big crooked number games for the Niners where you feel really good going into the weekend, and then you got Arizona.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, you just hope nobody gets hurt. So yeah, I think you're right about Ayuk. You probably don't need him. So yeah, let him sit out a week and get healthy. It's more than a week, of course. You get that week and a half break. Looking at the standings here, NFL standings in the week 3 schedule, who jumps out to you as a team that really needs a win now in the worst way? To me, at the top of the list, and I thought they really needed one last week. They didn't get it. I think Cincinnati still is a team. And I know with Joe Burrow right now, we didn't even know if he's going to play, but that's a team to me that they need to win right now more than anybody else in the NFL.
Yeah. To be, if they went to 0-3, imagine all the angst that would be going on in Cincinnati. I think of like the Patriots, who, I mean, they look about as stale as can be. And then the Chargers, the Chargers are, first of all, they got a head coach that's on the hot seat, and they're the only team in the NFL that scored over 50 points and committed no turnovers in the first 2 weeks of the season and are 0-2. They lost to the Dolphins and then they lost to the Titans. And then I will say Denver.
Yes.
I mean, Sean Payton is trying to prove to everybody that he can coach in the NFL without Drew Brees, and they're off to an 0-2 start, losing by a missed extra point, and then losing after blowing the lead and losing to the Washington. They need a victory. But I will tell you, somebody who I don't think they're going to get it, but the stuff. Have you been following what's going on in Chicago today?
I just heard right before I came on with you. I know Chris Watkins shared some details about their defensive coordinator. And you have me at a loss here. I'm not even clear exactly on what's going down today.
So Alan Williams is their defensive coordinator, and the Bears play 0-2. They play at Kansas City this weekend. Alan Williams, their defensive coordinator, did not show up for game 2 at Tampa Bay. His house got raided in suburban Chicago. He resigned within like the last hour. And then earlier in the day, Justin Fields just basically went scorched earth and then had to walk back some comments this afternoon. There is like super dysfunction in Chicago. But the defensive coordinator resigning, that sounds like that is absolutely crazy on what is going on for a franchise that, you have a quarterback who has, trouble with diagnosing a play. You have an OC who has trouble scheming a play. You have a head coach who has trouble coaching a team. And then you have a GM who appears to have trouble putting a roster together. Mm-hmm. All four of those things, that's not good. They need a win, but I don't think they're going to get it. But this is a story that, man, there could just be some wild stuff coming out of Chicago in the next day or so.
I think you're right. It just appears the Bears need a lot more right now than just a win. And it looks like they need a lot more than we even know. You mentioned the Vikings and the Chargers, right? The Vikings and the Chargers, I think you mentioned the Chargers. I think Minnesota is another one of those teams really needs a win. They play each other. Minnesota against the Chargers. So the loser of that game is going to be very miserable.
Yeah, you're going to be 0-3. The thing about the Vikings, and I know we're going to talk about Kirk Cousins a little bit later, and I'm going to go after watching the quarterback show on Netflix. I'm all in on Kirk Cousins. Not that he's a Super Bowl quarterback, but he just takes too much scrutiny from the media and fans and alike. Minnesota last year was 11-0 in one-score games. Isn't this in all sports how it comes back to reality? They're 0-2 this year. Last year they won all these one-score games. They put together a great record. Remember the record comeback against the Colts and the way they finished that season. But this year they're 0-2, and it's all about turnovers. I think they're better than 0-2. I think they're the best 0-2 team in the NFL.
It's one of the strange things to me anyway about analytics. Maybe if I understood them better, it wouldn't be so strange. But in baseball, if a team wins a lot of one-run games, the analytics say that will even out at some point. Yeah. Whereas old school thinking is, wow, they must have a great bullpen. Well, they must be great in the clutch. Same thing with a football team. A lot of close games, they must be really good in the fourth quarter. And the analytics say, yeah, there's some of that. But sometimes if you win a bunch of those, it comes down to the bounce of the football. And I think maybe we're seeing that evidence right now with the way things are going for the Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, if they can hold on to the football, they might be 2-0. And that's a win at home, and then they'll win at Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's, I think, if there's a silver lining there to that 0-2 start, at least they know what is wrong. Some of these teams that are 0-2, they're trying to figure out, wow, which of these things do we fix first? With Minnesota, it's crystal clear. Yeah. Don't give the ball to the other team repeatedly, and you're probably going to win some of these games.
Hey, could you make a case that the Jets need a win in the worst way?
Yes, I had them on my list as well. They do, especially if they're going to harbor any, realistic hopes of doing anything this season. I think those hopes are kind of unrealistic, but they don't. But they got to win. They got to win this week especially because they're playing the 0-2 Patriots.
Yeah, that one of those teams. Look at the teams that could be 0-3 this weekend. I mean, Denver's got a tough matchup. And if you're 0-3 and you still have 14 games left, you're like, we still got no. In the NFL, we've seen this. If you start out 0-2, it gets really difficult. If you're 0-3, good luck, unless you're in a bad division where you can make up ground.
I have to admit, on some level, I take some glee in the fact that Denver is 0-2 because of the way Sean Payton shot his mouth off in a way that he just didn't need to. It was just so classless to come in and blast his predecessor. Just blast him, which I presume he did because he was trying to support Russell Wilson. I mean, that was so weird. We went over that and over that. I'm sure you did. But for Sean Payton to come in and blast like ownership and his GM when he just got there, that's the only thing I could think of. He wants everybody to know, especially Russ, that Russ, you're the guy. None of this is your fault. And instead, the whole thing is blown up in his face. And to me, I feel like that's instant karma's gonna get you a little bit.
Yeah, you know what? Doesn't it seem like, Whitey, that Sean Payton missed the sport? He was doing it from the media side, that when he got back in, he wanted to remind everybody that he's still Sean Payton.
Yep.
And, I mean, he doesn't have Drew Brees as his quarterback. He has got Russell Wilson. But Sean Payton without Drew Brees, not off to a good start. I don't care if it's Russell Wilson or not. So it's like both of his quarterback and himself are like under the spotlight. But if they started 0-3, and you know the Denver fan base, I mean, they're passionate. The Broncos are the number one team in that time, even with the world champion Nuggets. They're going to let him have it. And then people are going to go, did he lose his fastball when he left the Saints and took a little time off?
I think what happened here, it looks to me like it was a worse situation than he realized. And he saw, hey, this is a talented team that was not coached very well. So, one of the keys to being a great coach is knowing which jobs to take. And I think he may have miscalculated here. He thought this was easily fixable. And it looks like maybe now we'll see. We got a long ways to go. A lot of pizza left in the box. Looks like maybe there's a lot more wrong there in Denver than he realized.
Yeah. But I still think they have a really good roster.
Then what's the problem?
Yeah. I don't know. There's something missing. And you could point to, look, it was 2 one-score losses, but you blew an 18-point lead against Washington, and
both these were at home too.
Yeah, and both of you start the year at home. So I don't know. I think if they lose, then it gets really interesting between him and his quarterback.
Would he be right now if we had the Coach of the Rear award? You have the Coach of the Year, then you have the Coach of the Rear. Is he the leading candidate for the Coach of the Rear?
I think he is standing first in line, and that is a great honor. Not a lot of people want that honor,
right?
But that actually should be one.
Yeah, right now he's far and away the leading candidate for Coach of the Rear. So he's got that going for him. Yeah.
Just imagine what you could do with that trophy.
Not even gonna respond.
No, it was just in your head. You can.
Yeah, right. I got you. I'm with you. The Bengals. Did you hear what the Bengals may do about their quarterback situation? There's a guy that used to back up Joe Burrow that was pretty good there, and now he's not there anymore. And I think I heard the great Chris Watkins reporting today. There's talk that the Bengals may be circling here, kicking the tires on the 49ers' third quarterback, Brandon Allen. They may want to bring Brandon Allen back into the fold if they think that Burrow is going to be out for an extended time.
You know what? That actually is not a bad move. I think he's a serviceable NFL quarterback. He's not your every weekend starter.
Right.
It's actually not a bad. It's not a bad move because if you're going to make a move, why don't you have to go with somebody that has familiarity?
Yes.
You don't have to just teach them everything new. Like look at Trey Lance. Trey Lance goes to Dallas, and what they're doing in Dallas offensively with either how they run things or how they call things is almost completely different from what they do in San Francisco. So that's a huge learning curve. I think if you had somebody that had been there and knows Zach Taylor's playbook, that's going to be an easier transition. That would be an interesting move, at least to get them where Burrow gets healthy, because man, he just does not look healthy on that calf, and they're calling plays to protect him.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you got Jamar Chase is being ignored.
Mm-hmm,
They're getting beat by L's.
I agree with you 100%, but the other side of that, and I do agree with you, is that if he's going to be out a while, I don't know that it matters who you bring in to replace him, because you ain't going nowhere if Joe Burrow's going to be out for the foreseeable. So fingers crossed there. And I like Brandon Allen. I would like to see him stay in San Francisco. Of course, I'm sure he would like to play. Coming up next, how many teams can say what the Eagles are saying, which is we're not playing the football we want to play yet? That's next. Gary Sharp and Whitey Gleason here on Sactown Sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Who do they decide on for the Super Bowl?
What do you mean, halftime act?
Yeah. I know that Taylor Swift.
Yeah, turn them down, right?
At what point do people turn on Taylor Swift and be like, why don't you lower your prices? And I understand the whole Ticketmaster thing, but what about the merch? Like, legit, do you have to make $1 billion? Could you make 500 million? Could you?
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
I want you to want me.
Gold Country Casino Resort in Oroville presents Cheap Trick live Saturday, October 21st. Get your tickets now at goldcountrycasino.com. Cheap Trick, October 21st at 8 p.m.
Gold Country Casino Resort.
Must be 21 or older. Model year end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Guys, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is making you this guarantee. We will improve the medical condition of your ED or low T, or we'll give you your money back. Book your free appointment today. Call 916-277-8599 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
When every shot counts, the professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio encourage you to try the brand new Titleist T-Series irons. Irons designed to enhance your play through control, distance, flight, forgiveness, looks, sound, and feel. With 4 T-Series models, the fitting team at Hagen Oaks will find the perfect Titleist T-Series iron for you. Call 916-808-2531 to find your fit today. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway, or online at hagenoaks.com.
Kenny and Jerry here from Bell Brothers, and we're getting close to the end of the summer, but it's still plenty hot out there. And you've been running your AC hard all summer. That's why now is the perfect time to tune up your air conditioner.
It's had months to pick up dirt and grime, for parts to wear out, for lubrications to cake up and dry out, and just not cool like it should. It would be a miracle if it's running even at 50% efficiency.
Call Bell Brothers today for an $87 AC precision tune-up. It's a thorough 90-minute, 26-point process that will get you back to full efficiency. Keep your home more comfortable and have your AC in tip-top shape for next year.
Pick up the phone and call Bell Brothers today to schedule your $87 precision AC tune-up. Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com. That's 916-444-1234 or thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Oh, God, he's back.
Who's back?
The clown.
The naked one?
Yes, Giggles. He just drove on the lot in a new Kia.
What, does he want to trade it in?
No, he wants to show it off.
God, isn't he showing off enough? Oh, here he comes.
See what Elk Grove Kia did for me? That's service. That's why they got my business, not you.
I think we've already seen too much of your business. Thank you.
Elk Grove Kia. Great service for everyone.
Elk Grove Kia has never made it easier for you to show it off. Don't worry about credit. No credit, bad credit, charge-offs, repos. Don't worry. Our team has over 100 years of experience. Others say no. Elk Grove Kia says yes. Get your next Kia today at Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or elkgrovekia.com and show it off today.
Elk Grove Kia.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
Buddy Gleason and Gary Sharp with you. Boy, I got taken a test by the great Jerry Reynolds today because we were talking yesterday about who should have the number retired, J. Will, Bibby, and I said J. Will was more popular, but Bibby was a better player. The great Jerry Reynolds called me today and very, like a professor telling a student, here's where you're mistaken. Jerry explained to me that he disagreed with that, and he was a big J. Will fan. So I appreciate the lesson from the professor. He used to be a college professor. I think he taught tennis, among other things. But I got taken to school by the professor today on that.
Well, he would know a little bit better than us with firsthand knowledge, but he also does the eyeball test. But I heard you mention, because I went and looked this up. There were neither one of them were great defensively, but Jay Will probably in terms of shooting the basketball doesn't get enough credit because you never see like a highlight of him taking a jump shot. Like squaring up from 16 and draining a J. It's everything is making a move to get to the rim. But he was a little bit better, I think, as a shooter than people give him credit for, because you never thought of him as that. And that really wasn't his game, but that's something that he could do.
He was a little ahead of his time. He would come down and take those transition threes at a time when for, basketball at that point, a lot of it was still, what are you doing? And now it's like, you can't do that enough. So, that's what you do in transition. So Jay Will, like I say, a little ahead of his time. I've told this story before, Gare. I hope you find it somewhat interesting. I actually played pickup with Jason Williams once.
How long ago?
That was probably about.
Was he out of the league?
No, it was around 2002, something like that. Maybe a little later than that. Yeah, he was pretty good.
Okay, so I of course have not heard this story. Were you already at the gym for the run and he showed up, or did you walk in and oh my God, there's Jay Will on the floor?
I used to play on Tuesdays in this game at a place that I don't think it's there anymore. Pat and Tom, who've been on KNCI doing the morning show forever, they're just legendary. They're great in every possible way. They had a game on Tuesdays and they invited me to come out and play with them. And there were other people that, because of the station's connections with the Kings, we'd have people that work for the Kings. Every so often, hey, there's a member of the team. I think Bill Winnington played once. I didn't play that day. And Jay Will was invited out. And Jay Will loves basketball so much. He's like, yeah, okay, I'll play. So he was playing. And the funny thing was, he was way better than everybody. Yeah. But he always knew the score. So he'd kind of play it like, 65%, run circles around us. But he always knew, it's like, all right, game point. And he always wanted to win every game. It was very interesting. He did a move on me, and I honestly, to this day, don't know what he did. All I know is that everyone hooted and hollered, and the next thing I knew, he was laying the ball in. And honestly, I didn't see it. And I asked him, what did you do? And he goes, hey, man, I don't know. But I didn't see what he did. He was that quick. And I was guarding him.
Yeah. Well, that's a nice brush with greatness on the floor.
I don't even know if it would qualify as a brush. I thought I was close to stopping him, and an alarm went off in my head.
Hey.
You are too close. You are too close. And then, wow.
Please tell me that when you were guarding him, you didn't slap the floor.
No, I did not. I slapped myself. Yeah. Yeah. I made a hook shot once, and I think he said, hey, nice shot. When a real player says that, you're like, man, I can quit right now. Thank you.
Hey, I would, if I was a retired NBA guy, I would sneak into the Y or a place where I knew a noontime run was going on and just, inconspicuously just roll out on the floor and hoop it up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. By the way, we are brought to you by Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. I was thinking of you today, Gary, because we, for SactownSports.com, we've been asked, some of the people on air have been asked to do a review, if you will, of the new Monday Night Football theme. And I know you really like the new In the Air Tonight. And yes. I'm just not a big fan. In fact, we were asked to rank it with other sports TV themes, and I had to put it behind, I don't know if you remember this, in the 70s, ABC, when they had PGA Tour Golf, they had a song called Love's Theme by Love Unlimited Orchestra. Yeah, this was it. I put the new Monday night theme behind this song, which used to be the ABC PGA Tour. And now live from Pebble Beach, it's the Bing Crosby. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't, because I think I'm now getting on the Love Boat.
Yeah.
This is the Love Boat theme. Doesn't it like love?
It's not the Love Boat theme. It's very similar. I think that's where Love Boat got the idea. This is a nice little jam. But this is a better TV sports theme than your beloved In the Air Tonight. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Now, I didn't go over the top and say it like is replacing John Tesh. Mm-hmm. Because John Tesh is the GOAT to me with Round Ball Rock. Mm-hmm. And all the other stuff that he has done.
That was a great one.
And you know what? If NBC gets back the NBA, I hope they bring it back. I don't know if John Tesh has done anything else since.
Maybe not, but thank you, Jay, for playing that. They've been using that, I think, for CBS Sports college basketball. I've heard it in recent years. Round Ball Rock has been used. I think they started using it. CBS Sports Network, not CBS proper. So it's been getting some work in.
Now, in this discussion of
there's no debate.
Well,
your song is terrible. I'm sorry.
People are disagreeing with you after hearing the audio. Can I would this qualify as a quote unquote sports theme, the Hard Knocks theme?
Sure, I would think so.
Okay. I'm asking the panel, so before I begin my argument, I like that. I think that is a good sports theme.
Is that, and please forgive my ignorance, is that an actual existing track that they just use for that, or is that an original pice of music?
It is an original piece of music. Yeah.
All right. We'll have to check that out. All right, I'll give it a listen. I'm open-minded. I like, for a major network sports production, you have like an original song. Just like Monday Night Football is great. So here is our song from Monday Night Football. And then to take an existing, the old, I'm going to think of many things when I think of In the Air Tonight, and Monday Night Football, I just don't think is ever going to be one of them. I associate with that song.
That's okay. I mean, we still like Phil Collins. We still like Chris Stapleton. You know what I did not like? I'm thinking about this today. So we're going to have another doubleheader on Monday Night Football. Why don't they, instead of doing the split screen, why don't they just make like ESPN2 the split screen?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like ABC, you get the full game. ESPN, you get the full game. But then ESPN2, if you want the split screen, like you could get if you're on YouTube TV, you get that. That's your option.
I'm sure there's some very good reason about they're charting everything about what viewers are doing, and these are like experiments. We're like hamsters these next 2 weeks for ABC, ESPN, really. And let's give them 2, and then see what happens and what they watch, and then we'll know down the road what to do. It's an experiment. And we're the subjects.
Now, are you a split screen person like we've seen golf and racing, for example?
No, forgive me for going here, but going back to the 1994 NBA Finals, when I'm trying to watch the Rockets and the Knicks, and they kept showing
that guy in the Broncos.
Yeah, it's like, I know that. I know. He's driving. I know. Nothing's happening. I want to watch basketball. Please. Please just let me watch basketball. That ruined the split screen for me forever.
And then back then you also had picture in picture, which we could control. But now
I could never get mine to work ever.
Really? I thought it was like
I could never get it to work.
I thought it was like the greatest invention. You felt like you had reached a status if you had a TV that had picture in picture. Mm-hmm. Now, because I have in my home office, I have YouTube TV, which they are giving you the multi-view, but you can't control which games are on there. Like with picture in picture, you could.
I know that. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I remember Sheena once got a TV for us, and she was so excited, picture in picture. And for some reason, and I had like a guy come out from a TV shop. He's like, yeah, I don't know, it won't work. It's like, no. So that was our fate. For some reason, we had the picture in picture curse.
Yeah, now I don't think you can even get one.
No, I don't think so. Let me ask you this real quick here before we take another timeout. This is what Jason Kelsey has to say about the Eagles. Says, we're 2-0, which is good, but we're 2-0, and we know that we can very easily be 1-1. We have not played football the way we want to play football yet. So the temperature of the team is a little bit on edge. How many other teams could say that right now, that, we're not playing the type of football that we want to play? The 49ers could have said that last week, but they were great in week 1. I think Dallas is right now has to feel like, no, we're playing great. Are there any other teams out there that you think can honestly say, maybe the Chiefs? I mean, good teams that could say, we're really not playing the way we know we can play.
I would say Kansas City, because their offenses, they've shot themselves in the foot with turnovers and penalties, and they got a problem with their tackles, and they got new wide receivers. I would say Kansas City. Isn't it interesting why you could make the case for the 2-0 teams like Philadelphia, Kansas City, and maybe even to an extent the Niners?
Yeah. I think last week you could make the case a little bit last week, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see tomorrow. Jason Kelsey, by the way, he also said that, he confirms. He said, yes, my brother is Taylor Swift. I think he said, oh, yeah, I believe it, which is like, wait, well, wouldn't you know? But he essentially confirming the rumors here about Travis Kelsey and the great Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I don't. That's my team. I don't need her messing. You know what? She could. I don't need a cruel fall. She could have had a cruel summer. And he's already got to focus on football. He's got a blank space sometimes up there. And this is only. And I did go to a Taylor Swift concert this summer. So I don't want to create any bad blood between me and Taylor. But she is saying essentially to my tight end of my football team, you belong to me. I just hope that any distractions he'll shake it off because he wasn't very good against Jacksonville.
Yeah. How many references did you get in there? I lost track.
I don't know. It's really not my style.
Yeah. Gotcha. Wow. This is not something that an owner is supposed to say. We'll look at not only the worst owners, but owners that have actually been able to turn it around. Maybe this owner can do that next year. It's the very clever Gary Sharp, Whitey Gleason, Sactown Sports.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted! Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner!
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what's going on for Jeep Adventure Days?
Right now, save up to $10,500 off MSRP when you lease the all-new 2024 Jeep Wrangler 4xE. And you can even lease the all-new 2024 Sport S Wrangler 4xE for only $459 a month.
Sorry, Chad, I must have misheard you. Did you say 2024 Wrangler 4xE?
You heard that right. The brand new 2024s. And that's not it. If you've been looking at the Jeep Gladiator, you can save up to $12,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Jeep Gladiators.
Wow, take advantage of these savings before they're gone at Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. See their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$10,500 total net savings applies to lease only after $8,500 factory rebates and $2,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include $7,500 federal tax credit, subject to change without notice. Lease term is 36 months with $49.95 due at signing, plus tax, title, and license on approved credit through Stellantis. 10,000 miles per year limit with 25 cents per mile charge for access. $12,000 total net savings on select 2023 Gladiators after $6,252 rebates and $5,348 dealer discounts. Rebates include $500 first responder bonus cash for current members of eligible First Responders Association. 5-day net savings. See dealer for details.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides 24/7 compassionate support and connection to trained counselors. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. The Lifeline works. You are not alone. For 24/7 support, just call, text, or chat 988.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No. We tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave here for American Energy Heating and Air. It's the end of summer blowout on all their systems. Right now, $2,500 off full systems, as low as $34 a week. And now American Energy Heating and Air offering a free Wi-Fi smart thermostat of your choice on high efficiency units. Look, the uncomfortable becomes comfortable with American Energy Heating and Air. They've been around since 1981, making the greater Sacramento area proud with an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. And as always, their goal is to exceed your expectations, exceed them of the heating and air industry, valuing the customer experience and making your home comfortable. It's that simple. Go to American Energy Heating and Air and get yourself a free Wi-Fi smart thermostat of your choice on high efficiency units.
Call 916-520-9999 now.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton and Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own loan report.
Attention, all tool shoppers. Get ready for the biggest DeWalt sale event of the year at Fasteners Inc. Sacramento this Saturday, September 23rd. We're bringing you the best deals on DeWalt products you've ever seen for one day only, including impact drivers for $59, combo kits for as low as $179, and up to $2,000 off your order with instant cashback rewards. Again, that's this Saturday only, September 23rd. Come on down and get better tools for better prices at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet. Find us at 6701 Power Inn Road and learn more at fastenersinc.net.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916, Sactown Sports.
Thanks for being with us, Whitey Gleason, Gary Sharp. Best thing about the 49ers playing Thursday night football is that we don't have to sit through that awful Monday night theme to watch the 49ers. On the YouTube chat here, Gary, we have this from Campio Silva. Whitey is wrong about the new theme on ESPN. Stapleton and Snoop nailed it. I don't have any issue with them or their performances. My issue is with the selection of that for the Monday Night Football theme. I just wish they'd done something at least a little bit original. I mean, I know that even Hank Williams was based on all my rowdy friends are here, but it was a little different. That's my issue with it. Not the performances, but just that was their selection for the Monday night theme.
That's fair. I'll listen to you. I'll take that under consideration.
A lot of people loving it though. That's great.
Yeah. It's we all struggle with change, and then we get used to it, and then we accept it. It's not as bad. I don't know if you watch Game Day on ESPN on Saturdays, but they changed their theme song this year. So Big and Rich had been like coming to your city, and they've added Darius Rucker and Lane Wilson, and so it's a different type of song.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that are loyal to that show are just absolutely crushing that song, hoping that they will make a change mid-season and bring back the old coming to your city.
Now, do you remember, you probably know this, young Mr. Watkins was not aware of this when we talked about this a few weeks ago, the Darius Rucker song that actually mentioned an NFL team?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his team's 2-0.
Yes. Yeah. I'm such a baby and a dolphin made me cry. Yeah, Chris didn't know that whole story. So anyway, but Gary's all over it.
Hey, I'm not so much of a Darius went country, but I was a big Hootie and the Blowfish fan.
Cracked Rear View sold 14 gazillion billion copies. I remember that was a huge hit. Chris Watkins might not even have been born yet. So yeah, that's what we're here for, to educate the youngsters. James Dolan is the owner of the New York Knicks and the New York Rangers. I would say, Gary, what say you? I don't think he's the most popular of pro sports owners.
No, let's see. Politicians, lawyers, and sports fans hate him in New York.
From the New York Times, Dolan is considering expanding his sports portfolio, perhaps buying a baseball or soccer team. But he says, while the Knicks and Rangers are, quote, near and dear to my heart, he said, this is James Dolan, owner of the Knicks and Rangers, quote, I don't really like owning teams.
Sell the team. Sell the team.
Yeah. He says the economics of Major League Sports are, quote, kind of sleepy, end quote. So if you want to make a Knicks fan angry, you just point this out to him. Hey, your owner doesn't even like owning teams, because Knicks fans can't stand the guy. He maybe has things headed in the right direction there, but it has been just a disastrous reign as the owner of the Knicks.
You know what? If he gave up his ownership to the Knicks, and he also owns the Rangers, but he's not really involved in the Rangers ops like he is the Knicks, is they will have a holiday. What do they have? The what is it? The Canyon of Heroes or whatever.
Right.
They will have a ticker tape parade if he is out. But isn't he also now involved in the Sphere in Vegas?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in fact why he was doing this interview. That's his latest business venture, soon to be open Sphere in Vegas. And I don't know what he said about that, but what caught my eye was what he said about owning sports teams.
He should have, you know what? He plays in a band. He should just play in the band, travel across the country. But back to the Knicks. Are the Knicks a better story when they're not good?
Well, see, it's hard to tell because they're so rarely good, but I can remember when they were really good. And it was, it was kind of like when the Yankees are good, a similar thing. And it hasn't been that way in a long time. I think a really good Knicks team, a really compelling Knicks team, a team in New York that kind of set the tone for the league. We haven't had that in a long time, but I think that's really good for the NBA. I mean, it's almost science fiction now to even talk about it, but in theory, I think it'd be really good. I understand your point, but I think it'd be better than a bad Knicks.
Maybe the more I think about that, because I got into the Knicks a couple years ago when they had that run, and they got into it with Trae Young, and the Knicks and the Hawks played in the first round. We all got caught up in insanity. It just seems like they are on the cusp, and they've been so kind of mediocre for a while with a breakthrough here and there, and they got a nice roster, and they should be in the postseason this year, is that they tease you and there's so much drama that surrounds them that's the better story on and off the floor, whether it be where their owner is beefing with Charles Oakley or they can't figure out Brunson and Hart and they get knocked out of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. It's just so mind-boggling when you have all these teams that struggle because they don't have enough money. And obviously there are some small market teams, we know who they are, who do very well. But a team like the Knicks that just, money is no object, and just they still for years and years they can't figure it out. Even the Mets figured out every so often, but the Knicks haven't won a championship since Jerry Lucas was there in 1973. 1973.
How is Jerry Lucas not on the show today?
Working on it, working on it
through back channels.
By the way, Jerry fully supports my efforts to get Jerry Lucas's number retired.
Okay, so we have. I'm telling you, that night is almost going to be bigger for you than it is Jerry Lucas.
And Jerry also agrees. We were talking about Coach Adelman.
Yes.
They got to have some sort of banner with his coaching victories or something on it. That there has to be something like that as well.
Hey, one quick question here, because I think the ownership of the Kings is in a better spot than it used to be.
Yes,
no brainer. Captain Obvious today is why do owners? Why do they make you feel like it's so miserable that they own the team? If it's so miserable, don't spend your money to purchase a team.
I know. Like John Fisher. By the way, I read John Fisher. There's a very interesting piece on the whole saga, the A's, the move to Vegas. ESPN, Tim Keane, I think, wrote it.
Oh, it's fascinating.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's kind of a little painful if you're, a longtime A's fan. But there's one quote in there that's really painful where he says, correct me if I'm wrong here, Gary, but John Fisher says essentially, I don't think of myself as an owner. I think of myself as a steward of the franchise's history. And it's just, you have to be kidding me that you would have the audacity to say that.
Yeah, he has disrespected that fan base so much that clings to what they have been in Oakland. Yeah, for him to say that. But they all owners, there are very few owners that are like embraced by the fans, and they're essentially a fan that bought a team. But we have so many owners that go, I'm just miserable. Man, do you know what I have to go through? Well, okay. Do you know what we have to go through to support you?
That's a really good point. I also, it's so easy to just say, well, who are the worst owners? But can you think of any owners? I can think maybe of one, a couple maybe, owners that not too long ago they were thought of as these guys are just there. These guys or these women, they're just terrible owners. And then they've somehow managed to turn it around. I think of the situation in Cincinnati. That's Mike Brown, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But he's still cheap, even though they paid Burrow.
Yeah. But still, it sounds like their brand is popular again in Cincinnati.
Yes.
To kind of overcome his thriftness.
Yeah, they made some good hires. So that of course makes the owner look better. But yeah, and he's somebody that'll never sell that team. I mean, that's a family.
Right.
That have owned the Bengals. And, the Bengals fans have gone through it because he has been cheap. And, the facilities haven't been great. They got lucky. They made some good hires. And then they got a generational quarterback, which forces you to spend money. Make money, you got to spend money. Mm-hmm. And so they're doing it there. But yeah, I think we can do a bet. I think we can quickly rattle off worse owners more than great owners.
Yeah. I also will say, Joe Lacob at the retirement ceremony for Chris Mullen, he got booed just out of the Oakland arena because they had just announced that they were going to move out of Oakland, and they had just traded Monte Ellis, and fans could boo, and he's turned things around. And, nationally, the Kings were a laughing stock, and look where they are right now. They're in some ways the envy of the league with the beam and everything. So there's two jobs very well done by two Northern California basketball owners.
Yeah, I don't get, like, if you've made, most owners have made their money in some other business, and so that allows them to purchase a professional sports franchise. But don't put on us that it's miserable to own it. Okay? Especially if I'm supporting you and I'm in your building or in your stadium.
Right. Oh, you don't know what it's like, Gare. Oh. Coming up next, the 49ers. You know what? Maybe they shouldn't be. They really are, though, that worried about Daniel Jones. It's next year. Gary Sharp, Whitey Gleason, Sactown Sports.
It's Whitey and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
When Joe Montana retired, he was, of course, regarded as what? The greatest of all time. Many in this area, of course, and bless you if you're one of them, still consider Joe Montana the greatest of all time. Whatever.
Is that what people from Boston sound like to you?
I mean, 4-0's 4-0.
It's Whitey and Watkins from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sactown Sports.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Fall is here, and Good Guys Heating and Cooling wants to make sure you're taken care of through the month of September. From now until September 30th, book any tune-up or troubleshooting appointment and get 100% of the trip charge credited back on any completed repairs. Normal big box companies charge $89 or more. Why not put that toward what needs to be fixed? Call Good Guys Heating and Cooling now at 530-GOOD-AIR. That's 530-GOOD-AIR. Or book your appointment now at goodguysheatingcooling.com. Best service, best price, guarantee. And that's no bull. License number 1057618.
The game of football is about pain. Ever since I was 5 years old, it's been all about football. It's been about running, jumping, blocking, tackling. I stopped playing at 31.
You're listening to Michael Robinson, retired pro fullback.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life. I'm so glad I met Good Feet. I'm so glad that those arch supports are in my shoes. I had terrible foot issues that prevented me from really having a normal life with my kids. With the Good Feet arch supports, man, I'm always ready. My kids actually got to enjoy me in the yard more, racing each other, backpedaling, teaching them some things, being a dad. If I had known about the Good Feet arch support earlier, I would have more than one championship. I would have 2 championship rings.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
The Amish have a reputation for craftsmanship, determination, and quality. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. You know, those virtues sound quite similar to the Keys family and the day-to-day values on display at Naturewood. The Amish furniture craftsmanship begins with the finest hardwood, shaping and molding the raw materials into one-of-a-kind art. In addition to the classic styles long sought and revered by discriminating furniture lovers, Naturewood Home Furnishings offers a vast selection that includes transitional, modern, farmhouse, arts and crafts, and other stunning styles, all available in the ultimate Amish standard of excellence built over centuries. All Naturewood Amish furniture is on sale right now for a limited time. Let the Naturewood team guide you through their selection of Amish furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Safe Credit Union is our local community-based financial partner, and they are committed to the well-being of their members. Jason Ross here, and we all work hard to reach our financial goals, and banking with Safe helps make that a reality. Because with Safe, you always get competitive rates on savings and loans, so you can spend less and save more for your future. If you're not a member yet, give Safe a try and discover all that truly makes Safe one of the best credit unions in California. Join today at safecu.org/join. Safe Credit Union is insured by NCUA.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your home for the Oakland A's every weekend.
And it's swung on line to left center, base hit, and the A's have won it on a walk-off line drive, base hit to left center.
Sactown Sports. The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Weddie Gleason, Gary Sharp, brought to you by Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. You know, Gary, some people have what you'd call irrational fears. Do you have any irrational fears that you'd like to share with the class? On the spot. I have a thing about sharks. You know, if I think about a shark when I'm swimming, even if I'm in like a bathtub, it doesn't matter. It's like, whoa, I don't like thinking about that.
Mine is clowns.
Wow, I've heard of that. Bob Melvin has that same thing, manager of the Padres.
So I used to think that I was alone, but you're right. There are more people that are afraid of clowns. And I didn't have like a traumatic experience when I was young. You know, your parents take you to the circus, or you go to a parade and there are clowns there. You see the Shriners or you know, wherever there's going to be clowns. And I just remember that I was like, oh my gosh, this person with face paint, with a big red nose and this hair, and I'm scared of him. And to this day, like when I see a clown, I will go the opposite way.
Coulrophobia, fear of clowns.
Well, then you see. I mean, movies do not do clowns any favors either.
No, they don't. That's a bad PR. They need to hire new PR people.
Yeah, they don't make movies these days where the clown is like in a good light, he saves somebody, and he walks away with the most attractive woman. Right. It's always the clowns become a serial killer.
Or worse, some kind of demonic entity.
Yeah, or they're battling Batman.
Right. Have you ever heard about Dame Lillard's phobia?
No.
He has a phobia, and this is documented. It's like of statues, and there's a term for that too. So statues, mannequins, representations, artificial representations in human form. Dame Lillard gets a little. Yeah.
I've never heard that one before. So when they go to play the Wizards, he doesn't take a tour of the Capitol.
I don't believe he does. Yeah, and that's something to keep in mind here as you figure, where are they going to trade Dame Lillard to?
So Washington, you're out.
Yeah. Well, do you think this is an irrational fear? Kyle Shanahan is very fearful of Daniel Jones and what he could do to the 49ers.
I think this is you. You were telling me the other day, because you were talking about how in the past the Niners have had trouble with mobile quarterbacks, and I'm telling you, Danny Dimes is mobile, and that might be his best asset, but let's don't go over the top here. I already told you, he's not good in prime time. He's 1-10, and during that stretch, he's thrown 12 touchdown passes, 15 interceptions. Now, they have been underdogs in 10 of those 11, so yeah, do what you will with that, and they're an underdog again tomorrow night. I think that they will heat him up because he's not going to have a tackle out there. He's not going to have Barkley. They will heat him up, and they will pressure him like the Cowboys did, and they will get to him, and they will force interceptions.
It's not just me. Quote, this is Kyle Shanahan. Quote, huge challenge. It starts with his legs. Anytime you have that speed and you can run the ball like he does, they're willing to run him. He's willing to run. He's physical when he runs. He's got the skill set to run away from people. So anytime you have a quarterback like that, the challenge that does just schematically unlocking your defense and making you have to play a certain way is always a pain. That wasn't me. That was Kyle Shanahan. He's terrified of Daniel Jones.
Yeah, would you put Daniel Jones in the circle of maybe you trust, the circle of the outer circle of trust, the inner circle of trust, or would you put Daniel Jones, Whitey, in the circle of distrust?
And who am I? I'm a Giants fan, or
no? You're just an NFL fan, ranking and looking at Daniel Jones.
Yeah. He's not right now. He's not in my circle of trust. No.
See, I would put him in the circle of distrust because he's serviceable for what the Giants need, but I think in terms of going like the next step, he's not that guy. And again, tomorrow night, he doesn't have 26 in the backfield with him.
Right. By the way, has the second highest scramble percentage in the NFL. Lamar Jackson is first. To me, this is a classic case of a bad team in need of a quarterback. They convince themselves this guy's available and he's pretty good. He'll be great. And then he does well enough one year where you decide, all right, let's double down and give him more money. But he still is ultimately not good enough to make the difference you need your quarterback to make.
Yeah, and he's fortunate enough that he's got his head coach, because I think one of Josh Allen's problems is Brian Dable is gone. And so Dable comes in, and Dable has been able to help Daniel Jones. But you remember what their reaction was when they drafted him out of Duke on draft night? People were like, what?
Yeah.
But it goes back to so many teams are desperate to find a franchise quarterback. And you hope you can find – and now it's going to be, hey, you can hope you can find your Mahomes or Burrow out there by reaching. But when you miss, it does set you back. They needed a franchise quarterback, and then they broke through, and they got to the postseason, and they had a nice year last year. And heck, they won a road game. Not to take that away. They went to Minnesota and won a road game in the postseason, and he got paid. But I don't know if they, like, when they write the check, if they have a shaky hand.
Right. Yeah. Here's another thing Kyle Shanahan has to say about him, however. Quote, and then he's got the ability to play in the pocket and beat you that way too. All right, you can laugh and say, Bill Walsh was a master of this, making the opposing quarterback sound like, oh, this guy should be in the Hall of Fame right now. So he's getting better each year. We've all really loved him coming out, and I think one of the main reasons he took them to the playoffs last year, he played really unbelievable there in that second half on Sunday. End quote. Kyle Shanahan is shaking in his cleats thinking about Daniel Jones tomorrow night.
Yeah. Okay. He's so C.J. Stroud's been sacked 11 times. Daniel Jones has been sacked 10. Yeah, I don't think without one of his main weapons, it will be pretty. Now, I think there will be times tomorrow night where he takes off and he'll be able to pick up 15, 20 yards or so. But how long can you survive doing that? Because I also think on the other end, against the offense that has scored in every quarter this year and has gone 5 straight where they've scored 30 or more, are they going to be able to slow down the Niners? Like, what is the number tomorrow night that the Giants have to score to have a realistic chance to win?
27?
Yeah, and I just don't see that.
Yeah, and that might be low. I mean, don't you think?
Yeah, I think you're going to have to score into the 30s. Mm-hmm. Like, you might have to score 31, 35. Yeah. You might have to turn it into just this wild shootout for the Giants to have any shot.
On the other hand, Steve Wilkes is a defensive coordinator for the 49ers. He says of DJ, he's very challenging, extremely athletic, does a great job with that format and that offense. They love to run the zone read, as you mentioned. That's part of Dabble's offense. Did the same thing in Buffalo with Josh. So it's definitely something that we're going to see. It's definitely something that we put on tape during preseason. So we've definitely got to be prepared for it, end quote. You can't say that the 49ers are overlooking Daniel Jones. I'll tell you that.
No. And I mean, look at they know that they got the better team and they can't afford to stub their toe tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm. This is a recurring theme with the 49ers in recent years. Now, it's a different defensive coordinator, but that's the point I was making a couple of days ago that you alluded to. They do seem historically to have some issues with mobile quarterbacks. So people will be, whether they should be or not, they'll be keeping a real close eye on that. I doubt ultimately that it's going to be one of the keys to the outcome of this game.
Yeah, so what they're last in scoring defense, they've given them 34. Of course, they gave it the big number to Dallas, and they gave up a big chunk number to Arizona. I think there's, I think there's something. I like to get into numbers. Not a big analytics guy, but I like these numbers. That if you score in every quarter, that tells me something about your team. And the Niners have been able to score in every quarter, where the Giants have only one quarter this year where they've pitched a shutout.
Mm-hmm.
And I if I'm on the Giants side, I hate the matchup of that offense against my defense and then trying to keep up with him with Daniel Jones. And he doesn't have a tackle. He doesn't have his running back. The wide receivers were okay against Arizona. But, man, I'm going to have to look at that front seven coming at me. And, hey, when he gets sped up and he gets pressured, that's either where he takes a sack or he throws a pick.
Don't you think that you would have to, if you're the Giants, especially, as you said, your left tackle's out again, you have to look at what Stafford did in the first half last week, getting the ball out as quickly as he could on shorter routes. I mean, that's like your only hope, I would think, at least in terms of getting things going offensively tomorrow night.
Yeah, short game, just boom, boom, get it out. Hey, on the other side, I was thinking about this, and I'm curious on your opinion about. Let's go to the Niners offense real quick. So McCaffrey's going to get his touches and his numbers every week, but it's going to be a different player every week. Now they can repeat, but the opening week it was Ayuk, and then you had Deebo Samuel. Does this feel like it's time for George Kittle to have a big game?
Not yet. I'm waiting. I'm saving him for later in the season because he takes such a pounding. I mean, it's certainly possible, but big picture, if I can, I'm just trying to keep George as healthy as I can here. And then I'm going to need him in the second half when hopefully I'm making a run. To your point, though, yeah, I understand that. Maybe it's a McCaffrey in the air tomorrow because he really hasn't been doing much as a receiver. No. He's certainly capable of it. So that would be my answer there.
Yeah, I there's like the George Kittle, and like I think George Kittle is one of the best tight ends.
You're right.
In the NFL.
Yeah, no question.
And doesn't it always seem with George Kittle, we always want more? I mean, he gives you a ton, and he does take a beating, whether he's blocking or he's not afraid to go anywhere on the field and catch a football. It's just every Sunday I think, man, George Kittle is one of the best in the NFL, and I want more.
Yep. He's the best tight end in the league. He's not as good a receiver as Kelsey, but he's a better tight end.
Yeah, you know what? But I think he's become a better receiver. You're right. He's one of the best inline blockers in the league. He is the best inline blocker at that position. I think he's become a better wide receiver, and I think he's an ideal fit. I just wonder if, everybody's kind of taken their turn of the guy showing up like Debo had, he's 63 yards receiving, 38 rushing. So those are good numbers. Now the next person to step up. Kittle just seems like tomorrow night is a game for him against, Purdy, who doesn't throw downfield very often, that if you're going to go a quick game as well against the Giants, which the Cowboys were able to execute a little bit and then get on a roll, and then they could open up for Lamb down the field. Kittle would be the guy I'd be looking at tomorrow night.
I'll keep an eye on it. Back to irrational fears, spiders with you. What do you think? You okay?
You know what? I'm okay. I think I've always killed spiders. Now, what you're doing here is, in my head and everybody else, is we're going to have dreams tonight, and all of a sudden we're going to feel that when you're sleeping, you're going to feel like the spider walking across your face.
Face your fears. That's what I'm about, man. Face your fears. That's all. Yeah, there's nothing to be afraid of.
Why do I feel like I'm now going on the couch?
I like spiders. I used to work at a pet store, and so I've been bitten by all manner of little animals. But the one thing I don't mind snakes and fish and rodents and all that stuff, lizards, whatever. But one time a guy bought a tarantula and I could not bring myself to pick it up. I had to wait there was a box that the guy was going to, we're going to give him the box with the spider in it. And I had to wait for the thing to crawl in the box. The guy's like, do you want me to put it in the box? I was like, no, sir. But I could not bring myself to pick up the tarantula. I don't know why. I like spiders fine, but I was like, I don't have any idea how to pick this thing up. Couldn't do it.
Most of the spiders I've ever encountered are just spiders you see crawling along the ground or, like on the wall or something like that. I have not come across a tarantula. Now, that might change my opinion if all of a sudden I walk in the house one day and that's scurrying across the floor. We might have to have some speaks.
Right. Yeah. I'm not afraid of them, but I am respectful of tarantulas.
Like, can you work at a pet store and be afraid of like spiders or lizards or snakes?
Yeah, you're just going to be up front at the register a lot, right? And you're going to be restocking the dog food. You're probably not going to be doing much more than that. By the way, the pet shop of Vallejo, California, that's where I worked. It's a fine store, Springs Road. Yeah.
What's it like
Tennessee
to be
Street?
What's it like to be? There's a free plug.
Sorry.
What's it like to be in a pet store when it's closed and it's dark? Is it creepy?
Well, when it's dark, the animals are typically kind of quiet. And, the parrots will start kind of, almost like when the sun's coming up, they'll make a little noise. But, you hear the bubbling of the fish things. Actually, very peaceful, Gary. Okay. You'd be surprised how peaceful it is with the bubbles and the, you can hear that. Oh, it's beautiful. It's like camping in the jungle.
Which you strike me as a guy that has made a lot of trips, done a safari. You have great experience.
Except for the day when me and the owner's nephew, we were in charge by ourselves, and an expensive bird escaped. That was not a happy story. Yeah. Very expensive.
Did it make a run for the
border?
border?
It got out and then made it out one of the windows. Like, she wasn't happy about that, and I don't really blame her. Springs Road. I said Springs Road is the pet shop in Vallejo. Coming up next here, Kirk Cousins to the Jets. People are talking about it. Could it happen? Should it happen next with Gary Sharp and Parrot Boy, Whitey Gleason?
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa.
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
if these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Model Year End pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the Model Year End event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to folsomlakehonda.com. Your one-stop Honda shop.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
Won't be long, Gare. Buddy Gleason, Gary Sharp. Won't be long.
Hey, is it Minnesota and Dallas, I think, open up training camp next week because they're going to Dubai.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Little worried about No, I'm not really worried about either one of those teams. I got to be honest with you in the West. I know they're talented. I'm not really worried about them.
Well, Dallas will implode at some point.
Right. Probably before they get back from Dubai.
That's true. We still have Kat and Rudy play on the same team, correct?
Yes.
And I feel bad. I'm all in on Ant-Man. I think Anthony Edwards is going to be one of the next superstars in this league.
I do too. He's terrific. Had a Timberwolves yesterday. We're up on Immaculate Grid, needed to come up with an all-league Minnesota Timberwolf. Of course, I didn't want to go KG. And then I thought about it, and came to me like, Kevin Love. But then I forgot to put it in, and then today the grid had changed, so I didn't get it in there. But Kevin Love was a correct answer, turns out, for a Minnesota Timberwolf who was all-league. There's my tip for you if you play Immaculate Grid.
Was Kevin Love a two-time Timberwolf?
Was he? I know it well. I just remember when Coach Adelman was there with them and Ricky Rubio, and they had a halfway decent team, and that's when the Warriors almost traded Klay Thompson for him.
Yeah. Well, and then there was before that when KG was there, they made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals. Sam Cassell, Latrell Sprewell.
Mm-hmm.
But they are, I don't know, they're an absolute mess. I would not want to coach either one of those teams because of the personalities and trying to blend them on the floor. This also, back to the Mavericks real quick.
Yes.
Because I know we're going to talk about Kirk Cousins. Doesn't it seem like this is a pretty important year in terms of navigating a whole season for Luka? Like if you're deciding, is Luka going to make the next jump and he's going to make all this money this upcoming year with a full season trying to balance Kyrie, and they're not, there's not a lot of people talking about the Mavs as a team that's going to do well in the West. This seems like the year like Luka reminds everybody he's still Luka, or it's like, okay, I got the same concerns about him.
Gary, in my opinion, you've just touched on the key to the whole thing there, and that is the Mavericks, their number one concern is keeping Luka happy. And as soon as that's the case, and it happens with teams in various sports, you're at cross purposes because the number one concern should always be we have to win. But their number one concern is we have to keep Luka happy. That way we'll keep him around, and maybe then we'll keep him around, maybe we win. But it doesn't work that way. So the foundation is shaky. And that's not all on him, but I really think that that's the underlying issue there in Dallas, and that's why they have a ceiling. And I think a couple of years ago when they ended up in the conference finals, wow, look at that. People thought, hey, they're ahead of schedule. They weren't ahead of schedule. They were lucky to get that far, and I don't see them getting back that far anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm not sold that they can get enough stops to be a threat.
Right.
So I think they're middle of the pack. Now, I'll be curious to see, what they do up front with Holmes, how he blends into that. Because they have Grant Williams, so they got some defense and they got some toughness, and then they got the shooting with Seth Curry.
Mm-hmm.
But putting all these pieces together, I mean, the most important thing is Luka and Kyrie.
Yeah,
can they get along?
Yeah, I think they can they can get along offensively, but I think the big deal, I agree with you, what you said. And it's not so much getting along defensively, but they're just not very good. And you got to have them on the floor closing time. And that's you're at a disadvantage defensively. So I think talented team, but not a team that ultimately I think has a chance to achieve anything significant.
Yeah. So you say keep Luka happy. The Timberwolves should go all in, and they already have essentially that this is Anthony Edwards' team. It used to be Cat's team. They were going to build around him. It's all Anthony Edwards. Just make the move right now. Everybody knows, and they're going to have Mike Conley should be healthy and be back at the point. But Edwards, Cat, and Gobert together, I don't know how that all works.
I love their coach, Coach Finch. He's an excellent coach, and he's been, juggling a lot of things there. Just with D'Angelo Russell out and Conley in, just that move alone, they improved dramatically. Even D'Angelo Russell out, it's like, okay, you're better. And then Conley in, whoa. But still, it's just that combo, like you say, Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns. How did they ever think that was going to work? I don't know. The reason I love Anthony Edwards, in addition to how he plays, is what he said about A-Rod. Remember when A-Rod bought the team and they asked him about Anthony Edwards asked about Alex Rodriguez. He's like, I don't know who that is. I love that.
Hey, we're in a nice little phase here. Like you guys have talked about this. The NBA is in a really good spot.
Yes.
Because you have one of the game's best players is about to call it a career. He's only got probably a couple of years left. But you have all of this influx of really good, young, on-the-cusp talent that not everybody knows about yet, whether it be a De'Aaron Fox or an Anthony Edwards that are just knocking on the door. Man, the NBA, in terms of the depth of talent for the older guys to the mid-30s guys that have been in the league for 7, 8, 9 years, to the guys that are now going into like their third, fourth, or fifth year, this league is in such a great spot with the talent that is in it playing right now. And it's not just this, Whitey. You look around the NBA, there are very few one-star teams anymore.
Yes.
Look at it in Sacramento. I mean, in all places, Sacramento, it is at least a 2-star team. De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis. Like everybody it seems like they have more than just one star. But if you only have one star, that's an issue. Like if you're Atlanta.
Right.
You got Trae Young, and then who fills the role as number 2. But most places have a defined 1 and 2 star. Some have that 3 and 4.
Well, and now the new CBA is making it really punitive to have 3.
Yep.
It's almost impossible to fit all the salaries in there. One thing that's interesting to me looking ahead, as you say, more players, new superstars on the rise. Very rarely in the entire history of the league has there been a period where you couldn't say, this guy playing now, he could be the greatest player ever. I mean, you go back to, you had Mikan, you had Wilt, Russell, and so on, and Jordan, and there have been very few periods where you could not say that about somebody. LeBron, of course. When LeBron's gone, I don't know if we're going to be able to say that unless the Frenchman, the rookie, maybe he lives up to some of the hype. Maybe he's the next one where we say he could be the best player ever, but I don't know if he's going to be that good.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to be patient with
I do too.
And he's not going to be on very good teams.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. That I like Keldon Johnson as like one of those sophomores, like a Keegan Murray that could take the next jump this year, but they don't have much around him, and they're going to have nights where they're really, really bad, and everybody will just focus on him. If he can stick it out for the first couple of years and they find a way to add pieces around him, but I'm with you. I think it's going to be tough to judge him because he's going to be on some bad basketball teams.
It's not his fault. I mean, we overhype everything now, but I think Jerry West said, look, people say he's the greatest prospect ever. Well, he's not better than freaking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when he came into the league, who is Lou Alcindor. So, let's just slow our roll a little bit here.
Yeah, it's he's got Popovich, and we'll see how long they last together. He'll be a must-watch.
Yes. Oh, no question.
I mean, look at that. That all goes back to, I think you and I were talking about this a while back, is look at the West. Like, just focus on the West and let's go away from the typical Lakers and the Warriors, and we've already discussed the Mavs and the T-Wolves, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on the Clippers. But if you look towards then the next level, and granted the Kings were the number 3 seed, but I'm going to put them in that next level of teams that are on the rise. Man, you got Sacramento, what they have. I would, by the way, put Phoenix up there as well, as we'll avoid talking about them. But look at Oklahoma City.
Yes.
I think Sacramento and Oklahoma City are going to share a lot of similarities on the roster they built and now how they've kind of turned the corner. Sacramento a little bit further ahead than Oklahoma City, but they've got like a couple of game-changing players, whether it be a Fox or a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But then they have that other piece that you go, okay, you got Sabonis. Oklahoma City could say, well, I got Jalen Williams. And then you've got that next, like, okay, he's a newbie. What's he going to do? In the Kings case, Keegan Murray, and, he's going to be a redshirt freshman, Chet Holmgren. I think there's a lot of similarities between the Kings and the Thunder, but I look in the West, man, there is really not like just an atrocious team in the West. San Antonio's probably a 25, 30 win team, but nobody that is like, man, they're going to struggle to get 20 wins.
I'm with you. By the way, Chris and I, for weeks, we were doing bold Kings predictions, and one of mine is the Kings and the Thunder are going to play in a playoff series. Oklahoma City is maybe not this year. I don't know, but you're right. They have oodles of talent, if I may say that word on the radio. Plus, they still have 750 draft picks over the next 2 seasons.
Hey, wouldn't that be ideal for the NBA to have two young teams with passionate fan bases in smaller markets playing in the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be great for the NBA. Don't give me the ratings wouldn't be good. It would be great for the brand of the NBA.
Back to that conversation. Also, as promised, Kirk Cousins to the Jets. Anything to that? We'll get to the phones as well. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. It's Gary Sharp, Whitey Gleason on Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
MVP's bonus days are back at Lowe's. Shop the largest selection of Klein tools and get 5 times the bonus points. Plus, right now, buy a DeWalt Power Stack battery kit and get a select DeWalt Bear tool free, up to a $249 value. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid 9/18 through 9/29. Subject to change. DeWalt offer valid through 10/11.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
What's going on? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, as always, of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram. What's happening, Chad, for Ram Power Days?
Right now, save up to $12,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorns, or get 0% financing for 72 months. Plus, save up to $8,000 off MSRP. No matter what you do, you're going to save thousands, but you better hurry in because that 0% won't last long.
0% financing? That's amazing.
Even I was surprised when I saw that. Plus, you can save up to $17,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Ram 1500 Limiteds too. No matter what you get, there's money to be saved at Hoblet.
Those huge savings won't last long. Hurry into the Hoblet Ram Truck Center or see their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$8,000 off MSRP plus 0% financing for 72 months on select new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn after $8,000 dealer discounts on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. Must have 700 plus FICO score to qualify. No down payment required. Equals $1,389 per thousand borrowed, or $12,000 total net savings after $6,500 factory rebates plus $5,500 dealer discounts. 10 in each net savings. $17,000 total net savings after $91.17 factory rebates and $78.83 dealer discounts. Sample VIN 665-579. Rebates may include $1,000 case construction cash. Must prove purchase of eligible case equipment to qualify, and $500 first responder cash for current members of eligible first responder associations.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
Hey guys, do you know what makes Revive Men's Health Sacramento different? You. Every Revive treatment and medication is personalized just for you. Revive has the experts that guys go to when their current treatment isn't working. They have a complicated medical condition, or they're just not happy with their daily performance. Since 2011, they've helped thousands of local men suffering with the symptoms of low T and ED. Their goal is simple: to get to the bottom of your issues and fix them. Your best performance requires more than generic ED medications or a low-dose testosterone booster at a low-ball price like you find online. Revive medications are custom compounded, affordable, and guaranteed to resolve your issues. Stop dealing with the symptoms of low T or ED. Book your free T-check and exam and save $199 today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit us at revivemenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and, and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916. Sactown Sports.
You want a headline? It ain't pretty, Gare, but the Giants lost to the Diamondbacks again today at Scary Sharp, Whitey Gleason. So that crucial series in the desert for the G-Men didn't go the way they hoped it would.
Here before you know it.
What's that?
Spring training will be here before you know it.
Well, I suppose so.
So that's what 5 of 6 they've lost, and they last night was kind of that felt like the end of the season with a key injury and not winning that game.
Yeah, 7-1 the final today. The thing about last night that was really kind of unsettling was the way Arizona looked athletic, stealing bases and hitting a triple and making great catches, and the Giants just looked kind of slow and methodical and just like they just lacked the energy to compete with the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, and it was another night where Logan Webb pitched okay, and they didn't score any runs for him. I mean, that's kind of like been the story all year. I think they should shut him down for the rest of the year. And hey, I'll give them credit. We discussed it yesterday. They don't have a lot of star power. They're kind of the way they're put together and the way they approach things is a little bit unorthodox in current day baseball. To make it to this far with this roster and things they've gone through this year, to still at least be alive in the postseason battle, I'll give them credit. But it puts some pressure on you next year to make sure that when you get to the last 10 games of the season, you're not sitting there scrambling to try and make it into that third wild card spot.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if anybody really cares about this, but right now they're 3.5 out, according to MLB.com, of the third wild card. They're just 2 ahead of San Diego. And they play San Diego next. San Diego, they had a terrible season, and they're 400-500. But the way things are trending, there's a decent chance San Diego actually catches the Giants, if you can believe that.
Yeah, I will still I'll take the Giants season over the Padres season.
Yeah, I suppose. Although it's, we'll see where it goes from here. The really rough ending for this Giants season. Really disappointing. Just a total. Remember the deadline. We don't need any help. We're good. Yeah. We don't need to get anybody. And then it's just, wow, has that been underwhelming?
Yeah, and I don't know that Whitey. I don't know that they were great from the jump. It was they went hard in the offseason to try and add some star power, and it was not a great roster for them to kind of hang around. I'll at least give them credit, but they've got to make some moves in the offseason. I mean, they can't run it back with what they have right now.
Have to get Ohtani, right? You have to get Ohtani. They ain't getting Ohtani.
They got to make a run for him, though.
That's tough, isn't it? You have to show your fan base we're in on this guy, even though you probably know, and they know more than I do. Maybe they have a legitimate shot. But if we're not going to get this guy, but we got to show our fans we're in, which means ultimately we're just going to have egg on our face. That's got to be difficult.
But do you think he's going to choose a locale because of money or because of comfort?
I think he's going to choose a locale
or winning.
On winning. Yeah. Yes. He says he wants to win. There's, I think, 2 places this year on the road where he went out and took batting practice in the stadium. One of them was, guess what? Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
I think he would have signed with the Dodgers in the first place when he came over, but there was no DH yet. So assuming the Dodgers are still extremely interested and they're willing to make a competitive or more than competitive offer, to me, it's been a done deal for months now that he's going there. I hope I'm wrong, but I think that's what's going to happen, which is just going to make things obviously even worse for the Giants.
Oh, it'd be so uncomfortable. Well, for the Giants, but also uncomfortable for the Angels. You had a guy that went on a 3-year run of one of the best 3-year runs in the history of baseball, and now you have to watch him play in the franchise that is far more popular in the same area that you reside.
Yeah, you're basically the Dodgers junior varsity, and that's probably the best you're ever going to be for a while.
Yeah.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Sharp and Gleason, as I say, thanks for being with us. Let's talk to Doug on Sactown Sports. Doug, thanks for hanging. What's up?
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Earlier you were talking about Dallas and where they are and everything, and I believe when I heard that they were going after Kyrie Irving, I just thought it was just the dumbest thing that they could ever do. And I know Cuban's got a lot of money, and he's very interested in winning that kind of thing. But you can't take 2 guys that are going to be future Hall of Famers in the same position and make it work. When Luka got drafted, Dennis Smith Jr. was there. They shipped his butt out, and there's no one else who's going to be able to share or morph into another player so that they have a chance to win. I would take Luka and get as many draft picks as I can and keep Kyrie and go in another direction. That's me. And just think what would happen if we would have drafted Luka. And I'm thinking we would have lost Fox because you can't have 2 guys that are ball dominant. So that's all I have. Love your show. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Doug. I think Doug's exactly right. That's the reasoning, rightly or wrongly, why they didn't draft Lucas, because they had Fox. And I think that was one of the beautiful things about last season, Gary, is that that kind of all went away. It's like, well, it doesn't matter now. Well, they could have drafted Luka. You know what? Maybe they could have, but they were good enough last year where that didn't matter anymore. And there was a huge cloud over the franchise that just kind of drifted away last year.
Yeah, but back to Dallas real quick. Yes. So I think there's 2 things. I don't know how quickly Derek Lively is going to come along. They drafted their lottery pick because he's raw. He's a very athletic big man, but he's very raw. I don't know if he can contribute immediately. But also part of this whole discussion about Dallas, there's the Luka. Can he get along with Kyrie? But isn't it about Luka and if he's in shape?
Yep.
Like commitment to conditioning.
Supposedly he is now.
They were 30.
He looks like you. I saw pictures of him now. He looks like you.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, they were 38 and 44. They didn't make the postseason. And it comes down to him making a commitment to the franchise of being in shape. Because if he is once again, not in shape and he looks, even when he's putting up 40, 50 a night, he looks like he's out of gas. I don't know you can last that long. Because they got to make the postseason. I mean, Cuban isn't going to put up for that. And also, after they spend money on Kyrie, they're a team. They're one of the more fascinating teams because Whitey, we're going to sit there and as every Kyrie team that he's on, we're going to wait for him to implode. And when is it going to happen? Is it going to be middle of the year? Is it going to be end of the year? Is it going to be in the postseason?
It's a great point that Doug raised, and I wondered that when they did it. Why are they doing that? Why are they bringing in Kyrie? And there is the issue of both of them liking to have the basketball. But Kyrie played with LeBron, so you figure if he wanted to, he could make that work. But I just wondered why anybody would hitch their wagon to a guy in Kyrie who has been so volatile and so unreliable. And he wanted his own team, so he went to Boston, and that didn't work. And he went to the Nets, and that didn't work. And bless him, I hope he's happy and lives happily ever after the rest of his life. I have nothing against him, but I would not want to pay him that much money to come into my team and potentially get everything spinning sideways on me, because that's what he's historically done. That's what confused me the most about Dallas bringing him in. So far, so good. There are basketball questions, defensive issues, but I don't know why anyone would bring in Kyrie, because he has just been so unpredictable for the bulk of his career.
Yeah, I'm absolutely right there with you. When your biggest discussion point about your team is not, hey man, with Luka and Kyrie, that means Seth Curry is going to get a ton of wide open looks playing off of them. It's, can those 2 guys get along? I don't know. That's not how I want to run my franchise.
Right. Coming up, speaking of big franchise decisions, as promised, there's been talk of Kirk Cousins maybe going to the Jets. Should the Jets even be considering that? Is that a possibility? We'll finally dive into that next. We'll dive over the goal line of that next year. It's Sharp and Gleason, Sactown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
From local town councils to Capitol Hill, agents who are realtors are standing up for what's right. We're here protecting property rights. Here advocating for the issues that affect our neighborhoods. Here championing fair and equitable housing for all. Because we are realtors, bound by a code of ethics, driven to serve our communities. We're here for it all. Here for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
0 down with approved credit.
At Bank of America, we asked our employees what they wanted most.
I want to work where everyone is welcome.
To have benefits that take good care of my family.
To move forward in my career. We listened and did all that and more. It's why we're proud to be Just Capital's #1 top company to work for. Bank of America. What would you like the power to do? Just Capital used annual rankings that track performance across the 5 worker-related issues evaluated. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC, equal credit opportunity lender.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
You're faced with a long shot in the heavy rough. Now what? Jessica Marksberry writes in Golf Magazine that while hybrids have made these shots a bit easier to deal with, lengthy shots from heavy rough are still a significant challenge. Top 100 teacher Tina Toombs says the first thing you need is loft and a specific mindset over the ball. You need to hold onto the club firmer with your left hand to prevent the club from grabbing the grass. You can elect to play in the back of your stance or play it forward. Now, playing it forward makes the swing a bit steeper so it can stay open more and the ball comes out of the rough better. She says a 7-wood makes it easier than a hybrid for longer shots. The ball comes out low, but rolls a long way because of topspin. And if all else fails, she says bailing out is an option too. And there's no shame in taking your medicine to avoid compounding your initial error. If you're really not sure, take your 9-iron and get it out. Don't risk topping it and leaving it in the rough. Good luck out there. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. Is your dog leaving frowny piles of poo all around your yard? Well, we need to introduce him to Supreme Source Super Premium Dog Food, the fastest growing premium dog food in the country, made with organic seaweed for easy digestion, family owned and operated for 50 years. 6 interchangeable recipes. You can grab some at Safeway, Save Mart, Smart and Final, Winco. Learn more at SupremeSourcePet.com. Supreme Source, a solid choice.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
Gary Schaub says you want to make sure you get the 10 points. 10-point spread. Take the 49ers, give 10 points. That's his. That's your lock of the week, right, Gary?
It's in my 3-pack of locks.
Okay. I would definitely feel very good about that. I wonder if you could still get 10 anywhere. Tomorrow night, hear that game right here on Sactown Sports. You never know what coaches are going to do, though, at the end of the game that might impact the line and whether your team's going to cover or not, as we saw last week. Although Sean McVay, he had no idea what the line was, right? So
Yeah, he doesn't. He
didn't know.
Had to be reminded.
Someone had to tell him about that.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk this week, speaking of football. Kirk Cousins, the Jets. I don't know that there's ever actually been any conversation from the Jets or from the Vikings on it. But, you know, sports media being what it is now, we see that, Aaron Rodgers is injured. Jets could maybe use a quarterback. Kirk Cousins, he's playing out his contract with the Vikings. They're not playing very well. Maybe there's a match there. So there are a lot of people who know a lot about these things. Like, for example, Kyle Rudolph, former Viking. He says, you know what? I think the Vikings should probably be fielding calls because you're going to lose Kirk Cousins, get nothing. You obviously don't think that he has a future with you or you'd have him signed. So why wouldn't you do that? Of course, the other school of thought is if you're the Vikings, you could actually win something this year. Yeah. You have 2 potentially winnable games coming up here. So where do you help us unravel this and get down to what's actually going on, if anything is going on? What is going on? What should be going on, Gare?
Hey, isn't it interesting that Kirk Cousins gets just crushed? And, you know, I mean, I think we want to make more of Kirk Cousins in like the quarterback tiers than he actually is, but he's a respectable NFL quarterback and he gets crushed a lot. I mean, there's people that don't respect him. Heck, even Viking fans, they want to do away with him. They want to tank for Caleb like everybody seems to be doing in the league. But you go from saying, Kirk Cousins isn't a great quarterback to, if he joins the Jets, he's going to go to the Super Bowl. Now, that doesn't add up for me. I think if the Vikings are 0-3, like if the Chargers go into US Bank Stadium and beat them and all of a sudden the Vikings are 0-3, I think you would be doing yourself a disservice if you did not listen if the Jets reached out. And why wouldn't the Jets reach out? I mean, Zach Wilson isn't going to get them even to the playoffs. And they've got a good enough defense that they can get to the postseason. You can't fix that offensive line, but they're going to have to get to the postseason. They're going to have to find a quarterback. But the whole discussion around Cousins is he's not very good, but if he's on the Jets, they're going to the Super Bowl. What?
Well, you know how it is. He's really polarizing. And I honestly think you're going to say this is the dumbest thing you ever heard, perhaps, but I think he is both overrated and underrated because I think there's a large segment fans that think he's terrible. There's a lot of fans that think, he's really, no one realizes how great he is. And he's probably somewhere in the middle, but I don't know that he's good enough to make a difference with the Jets. As you just said, with that offensive line, if they were, and they got to pay him a lot of money just for this year, how much of a difference could Kirk Cousins make with that offensive line this year? It would be a really desperate move by the Jets. I guess if they figure, hey, it's the only way we'll have a shot, maybe you do it. I don't think I would advise them to do it though.
No, you just summed up Kirk Cousins better than anybody really has when they're trying to diagnose if he's a good quarterback, average quarterback, terrible quarterback, is overrated and underrated.
Yes.
But here's the thing though, you got to think, if you are the Jets and you already have some problems on your offensive line and you had those problems that existed with Aaron Rodgers and you need a quarterback, Kirk Cousins has taken the most hits of any quarterback since 2021, 238. Like Matt Ryan, Russell Wilson, Herbert, and Tannehill are in the top 5, but Kirk Cousins is number 1. It's not like he's going to be able to run away from poor protection.
Yeah, and that's a huge issue for them. Now he is familiar with the system, so there wouldn't be as much of an adjustment period for him. But I think if I'm the Jets, I'm at least, well, obviously you can't do anything now anyway before this game. But to me, Zach Wilson for the Jets this year is not necessarily a lost cause. And I'm not saying, oh, he's going to be terrific, but I still think there's a chance for you to be competitive with him as your quarterback this year. Obviously, you don't want him. You're not expecting him to do anything close to what you thought Aaron Rodgers might do, but their defense is good enough where maybe, all of a sudden you change your emphasis and the defense can carry him. I still think that's enough of a possibility where I'm not saying, wow, we got to go get Kirk Cousins. Not yet.
So when is that moment? If you're the Jets.
If you lose this week, you got to take a hard look at whether you can save this thing at all, right? Again, because they're playing the Patriots. If you lose this week, you got to consider whether, all right, we got to do something to save this thing, or if this we ain't bringing this patient back, not this year.
So October 31st is, which is Halloween, is the trade deadline. I believe it's October 31st. So it's right in that neighborhood. Is Kirk Cousins a member of the Vikings on Halloween?
I think he will be, and I think he should be, because I still think they have a chance to do some things this year. We've talked about them, and I know they kind of got gashed last week on the ground. They were competitive for the most part with the Eagles. They just have been turning the ball over too much. If they beat the Chargers this week, I don't see how the Vikings are in a position where they're looking at, let's throw in the towel on this season. I just don't see it, even though he doesn't appear he'll be your guy next year, but that's okay. In the NFL, more than any other season, all right, we don't worry about next year. We're worried about this year, and we have a chance to be decent to good this year. So I think they'll keep him around, and I think they should, unless they get blown out this week.
Exactly. But it's always in Minnesota. He's never, in my opinion, he's never been the problem. They've always been undersized on the offensive line. They've had a shaky defense. They've spent money to try and fix that, but they don't have Dalvin Cook. They don't have Adam Thielen. So they're already set up for probably a tough season. And his numbers through 2 weeks, granted the Vikings have been hurt by turnovers, but Kirk Cousins, the numbers are pretty impressive.
They're incredible.
I mean, if you want to go way out, Whitey, I think he's on pace for 6,000 yards, which I believe would set a record.
I think it would. I have the internet. I'll have to check on that, but I think you're right. Yeah, it's one of those weird things where, he's playing pretty well, and you look at the numbers, and they just jump off the page and grab you by the throat.
So let me go a little bit deeper here with a guy like Kirk Cousins. Is Kirk Cousins the kind of guy, because I don't think they've ever had a top 10 defense since he's been in Minnesota. If they were a really, really good defensive team, is Kirk Cousins a Super Bowl quarterback?
I don't see why not. I don't look at it as that's some sort of mystical realm where few can dare, cross the border. I think there are a lot of guys that could win Super Bowls under the right circumstances. I'm not dodging your question. I'm just saying, Kirk Cousins, he's certainly good enough. I mean, Kyle Shanahan has certainly thought so. It doesn't look like that's ever going to work, but he's been what's the word, coveting Kirk Cousins for many years.
Isn't Kyle Shanahan attached to every quarterback?
Not like he is with Kirk. Apparently. That's going to be interesting next year if, you're
already starting.
Well, I'm not the one who started this. And if Brock Purdy plays well, it's not an issue. But if Brock struggles a little bit, or if they have another one of those, they came so close, and Kirk is available, it'll be really interesting to see what Kyle Shanahan decides to do there. And I know cap-wise, it's there's no way they could do it. But Kyle's always had a very special place in his football heart for Kirk Cousins.
Man, I thought next offseason it would be the Deebo Samuel in a contract discussion. Now we might have Kirk Cousins.
I still think it's a long shot, but it could happen.
Yeah, I mean, if he wants a guy, he'll go get a guy.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever happens, I think we're probably past right that he's going to stay in Minnesota. Minnesota wants to move on, even with everything that you and I have said. Is how popular is he? How popular is he? Is he a guy that, a team is on the cusp and they'll spend up to get him in his final go around in the NFL?
Mm-hmm. Only certain teams who feel like, he is. It's a weird combination of a guy who is a very talented passer, but still basically a system fit. I mean, you could say that to an extent of all quarterbacks, but I think especially of him.
Yep, I agree.
Yep. All right. Coming up next year, we'll look at the 5 most stunning things we've seen in this new NFL season. That's next with Gary Sharp, Whitey Gleason, and you. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Model year-end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year-end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to folsomlakehonda.com. Your one-stop Honda shop.
Hey, you want to be around people having a great time? You need to come check out Capital Casino, offering the most varieties of table games in the region in the friendliest environment. Come for the food, which is awesome, of course, and stay and play. Conveniently located in downtown Sacramento at 411 North 16th Street, right there in downtown Sacramento for over 20 years. Cap Casino, best food, best games, and of course, the best action. And please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Fall is here, and Good Guys Heating and Cooling wants to make sure you're taken care of through the month of September. From now until September 30th, book any tune-up or troubleshooting appointment and get 100% of the trip charge credited back on any completed repairs. Normal big box companies charge $89 or more. Why not put that toward what needs to be fixed? Call Good Guys Heating and Cooling now at 530-GOOD-AIR. That's 530-GOOD-AIR. Or book your appointment now at goodguysheatingcooling.com. Best service, best price, guarantee. And that's no bull. License number 1057618.
When I want to stretch out after a long day, my sofa needs to be comfortable, but it also needs to look attractive and inviting when guests come to visit. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. We spend so much time on our living room sofas that we forget they're a focal point and a hint to our decorating tastes. Right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings sofa sale, you can save on every sofa, including gallery-exclusive custom-ordered flex steel furniture. Whether you're interested in a new sofa, sectional, or recliner, you can choose from hundreds of colors and fabrics. Nobody has more styles and choices than Naturewood Home Furnishings. And when it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop Naturewood for the look you love at a price you'll love even more. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable sofa sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own loan report.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Whitey Gleason, Gary Sharp, brought to you by Folsom Lake Honda. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Excuse me, your one-stop Honda shop. Getting choked up there because I knew I had to talk about the Giants. Here's what's going on today quickly. The Giants today fell in Arizona, so they lost both games of this crucial two-game set. Arizona beat the Giants today 7-1. So right now the Giants are 3.5 out of the third wild card. They're actually just a game and a half ahead of San Diego. So the Giants now 76-76, and then they open a series against the Dodgers tomorrow night. So that not going especially well. Strange story that Gary mentioned earlier. We have this news today on the Chicago Bears. Defensive coordinator Alan Williams resigning amid what the New York Post is calling bizarre circumstances. There are, according to the New York Post, there have been rumors about, let's see here. I want to make sure I get this as accurately as I can. I'm sorry, Gary, if you have this, here we go. I'm sorry. Very sorry. Rumors swirling regarding federal law enforcement and reported raids on Williams' home and Bears headquarters at Hallis Hall. That's right. Rumors swirling regarding federal law enforcement and reported raids on Williams' home and Bears headquarters at Hallis Hall. So we don't know what's going on there, but we do know that Bears defensive coordinator Alan Williams resigning. And then, Gary, thank you for sharing this. Shams on Twitter says Buddy Hield and the Pacers have started dialogue to work on finding a potential trade. So number of things going on here on this Wednesday as we prepare for the 49ers and Giants tomorrow night.
Yeah, the Alan Williams one, it almost feels like people are very, very cautious to report more. Like there's more to this story, but everybody's like, oh, I don't know that I want to be first to report this. I mean, if you're covering the Bears and it already is 0-2, and earlier in the day, Justin Fields essentially threw his coach under the bus and then kind of clarified his comments about his problems being coaching later in the day, and then you have this. Oh, man, you are like in the content machine. If you are at Hallis Hall today covering the Bears, you're like, whoa, this is for an 0-2 team. But there's another thing I want to add. I know you probably got a thought on Buddy, but I also just saw, like, there's a lot of stuff going on in Chicago.
Yes.
There is a Chicago reporter. We were discussing yesterday of Woj saying there is a mystery team in the East that might be in play for Lillard. John Greenberg has reported or is reporting a somebody else's report that it is the Chicago Bulls that have made calls on Dame Lillard in the last week.
Trying to think how he would fit in with their backcourt. Of course, Lonzo is not going to be playing for a while. Interesting. Kind of doubling down on that. Hey, get some veterans who can help us right now. And wow, interesting. What do you think of that?
Okay.
I think it's short term makes sense, but long term it doesn't make a lot of sense.
But who would be going the other way? Is it Levine? Because those trade rumors are getting louder and louder, and they will as the season moves along. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure DeRozan, there'll be a couple of rumors there.
Yeah,
they would be a surprise. I think they're not a bad team, but they're going to win enough regular season games probably to be respectable with their core.
That's what I'm saying, and I know I didn't say it very clearly, but yeah, to me, clearly the Bulls are a team that they are all about getting the talent that'll make them fairly relevant and respectable, but they're nowhere near a championship level team. Maybe they feel differently.
Yeah. Now back to Buddy. So is this his opportunity to be a Laker?
Well, that was the Lakers that LeBron that turned that down earlier. Buddy Hield is a great shooter, and so every team can use, kind of like in baseball, you can always use more pitching. Basketball, you can always use more shooting. And he's not a perfect basketball player by any stretch, but he is a great shooter. So a little bit surprised by that news.
Yeah, because they brought in, I know they were talking in the offseason as they were building their roster. They're like, this is going to be great. We got Bruce Brown who'll go with Buddy Hield on the wing.
Mm-hmm.
They already got Halliburton. That must have, the negotiations there must have gotten really ugly that we're this close to the start of training camp, and it's like, okay, time to go. Because so I think it's reading Sham's report, he's expiring on an $18.5 million contract.
Buddy may overvalue himself. A fine player and a fine shooter, but it may be a situation where he thinks he's worth money than any teams actually do. But we'll see. All the best to Buddy Buckets. Getting back real quick here to whatever is going on with the Bears defensive coordinator, Alan Williams. I should say former defensive coordinator because he resigned. We have an interesting quote here from Brad Biggs. Brad Biggs is a longtime Bears reporter for the Chicago Tribune. And in Coach Williams' resignation statement, he talked about doing this for health reasons. But Brad Biggs says, quote, a lot of speculation about the status of Bears defensive coordinator Alan Williams. I can tell you for the last 3 days, we've been operating under the belief that his absence has not been related to health or a family matter, end quote. That's what Bradley Biggs tweeted. So potentially volatile situation unfolding there in Chicago on this Wednesday. This turned out to be a strange Wednesday and an eventful Wednesday.
What a mess of a franchise. I mean, that just is, they haven't gotten anything right. They haven't gotten Justin Fields right. They haven't helped him with their defense. Fields hasn't helped himself. They have gone through multiple play callers. They have a head coach who seems like he might be over his skis. And then they got a GM who, trying to put a roster together, they got a bunch of holes on. And also they're trying to get a new stadium to move out to the burbs in Chicago. They have become such a mess of a franchise that, 15, 20 years ago, they were the team in the NFC. I mean, they were one of the best teams, and they were well run and well respected. But it just shows you, if you don't get that quarterback right, how much of a trickle effect it is when you invest in a franchise quarterback and you draft a quarterback that high like they did with Fields, and he doesn't work out to kind of essentially save or stabilize the franchise, what it does to the rest of that organization. And they might have a revolving door again of a new coach, new OC, just maybe a new GM, which it seems like they're doing it every 3 years.
I know that Bill Belichick was asked about the identity of his team's offense because, you tend to think of him as being a little more traditional, but they've thrown, I think, the most passes in the league. So Belichick was asked about that. He said, I don't care what our identity is. We just want to score points. But I think it can happen to a team where you have an identity crisis, which only matters because the team loses track of what are we doing? How are we trying to win? The Bears, to me, is like, what are they doing? How are they, what is their identity? How are they trying to win games right now? Even Atlanta, they're not great, but they're 2-0. I know what their identity is. They run the football and they defend. But the Bears, would you agree, Garrett? To me right now, the Bears are a team that's like, I don't even know what they're supposed to be doing.
No, I have no idea. I mean, it's Justin Fields isn't throwing. He isn't running. He's become the worst quarterback in the league. And all they're doing is racking up with him. They rack up a bunch of garbage time fantasy points. Yeah, they have no identity. Like, You have DJ Moore. What are you doing with him? You have Claypool. What are you doing with him? They just, I don't know where they're going. It just seems like there's just major dysfunction that the OC and the head coach aren't on the same page.
Yeah, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Let's go to JR here on Sactown Sports. JR, thanks for joining us. Sorry about your Giants today, sir.
Oh, my God. Hey, first-time caller, long-time listener.
Yeah, you said last time, yeah.
Yeah, I know. God, the Giants had like this perfect schedule set up for them. You're killing me, Whitey. I can't believe you brought that up. Now I'm all depressed. Now I've lost like.
Hey, Jay.
Go ahead.
Hey, JR, let me ask you. Why are so many people angry at this Giants team?
Well, I can't say I'm Cap. I will say as a long time born in, Gary, I don't know if you know, I was born in Candlestick Park. I was born under the right field fence.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I wore a hot dog wrapper as a diaper for my first 5 years.
Yeah.
His little pitching deal of, I'm going to do a bullpen game, it drives me nuts. Because they have enough talent. They should have. They had the schedule at the end here of playing the Rockies, and now at the 2 game again. They had it. It was teed up for them to at least be in the playoffs, and they just choked. And it makes Giants fans angry. As bottom line.
Yeah.
But now I have tickets to the Dodgers series last series, and now they got to go into LA this weekend, right?
Tomorrow night. Yeah.
Yeah, and so unless they pull a rabbit out of their hat, I don't know. I mean, it's just unless they get someone like Phantom on the mound who can pitch a no-hitter.
Well, they're still in it. I mean, only 3.5.
Only 3.5.
Yeah.
Was there 12 left? Is it 4, 6, 7, 8?
They're 76 and 76, so 100. Yeah. Well, you
got 8 left.
10 left, right?
10 left. Okay.
Yeah.
Mathematically, they're still in it. Just like Brian Reagan always says, mathematically, it's not a must-win. We can make it to the finals. You're killing me, though. I wanted to talk about the theme music. Does Thursday Night Football even have theme music? I mean, is there something they play?
It's a great question. I have no idea. I'm assuming it's some sort of trumpets, and then Al Michaels comes in. But I don't. I don't even really know. It's probably called Al Michaels theme. I don't even know.
They throw down rose petals, and Al Michaels walks on a friggin' red rope. Oh God, you're funny, man. You should do a song. I want the Rise Guys band to do a song for Thursday Night Football. Great show. You two are really good together. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for carrying me. Yeah, his back's getting tired. Thank you. Appreciate that. I was going to say always good to hear from JR. Not always, but a lot of times it is. And today was one of those times. Appreciate that.
JR better after a Giants loss? Yay or nay?
I know. I feel bad. I thought he knew. It's like I blindsided him or something.
Hey, Lamont Waite led off with a home run, and I thought, okay, at least they're going to get out of Phoenix with a split, and then it just didn't happen.
Yeah. They're just not that good. And it just, unfortunately, it took this long for that to show up. And, if this showed up around the trade deadline, I could have said, oh, okay, we better do something. But it happens sometimes.
Well, and I think there's also, hey, look who's still in the battle for 2 of the 3 wild card spots. The Diamondbacks of all teams.
Right, you're right.
The Reds and the Marlins.
Right. And, interesting, JR, I think he spoke for a lot of people when he said, I can't stand Kapler. You know why people, and a lot of people have warmed up him after that 107-win season. You know why I don't think a lot of people like Kapler? He doesn't look like a manager. You look at Bruce Bochy and you think, Major League Manager, and you show a picture of him. Yeah, that's the guy, kind of used to catch and tobacco spitting and got a little limp there. And Kapler looks like I'm a male model in a baseball uniform. And people don't like that.
Yeah, I get it. They didn't like him in Philadelphia.
Well, that's because he had no idea what he was doing.
Well, and then
there's some of that too.
And then all the way you look like that. I don't know. I don't think you should have more people on your coaching staff than you do actual starting pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me. Now they get another year, but next year becomes like a crucial year for the Giants.
Yeah.
Like to not be competing for a wild card, but like to be in the race with the Dodgers. I mean, nobody expects the 100+ win season like they had a few years ago, but they expect a lot of improvement. Or we're having this discussion a year from now, Whitey, of, hey, as the manager and GM, is the Giants going to make a move here?
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be back. This is a big offseason for them, but this offseason for Giants fans will be waiting. All right, what are you going to show me now? You better show me something this offseason.
Yeah, and I
don't know.
It's just bad baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have the limitations. Yeah, it's boring, but it's just bad baseball. And then fundamentally, like last night was one of those games that you don't want to even talk about. And isn't it? I love Dwayne and Mike in the booth, and that they are diehard Giants fans. They were even disgusted last night watching that display.
Yeah, they were, no question. When we come back, as promised, finally, the 5 most stunning things we've seen in the new NFL season. You got to talk about these things because they are mind-blowing. We've got them next year. Sharp, Whitey Gleason next on Sactown Sports.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So what do you provide? Cookie cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
Watch out, boys. She'll chew you up. Buddy Gleason and Gary Sharp on Sactown Sports. Gary, since you put that thought in my head about Dame Lillard going to the Bulls, I can't get it out of my head. And you really caught me off guard there. And I've been doing some reading about what you were talking about. Zach LaVine's name has been mentioned. Dame Lillard is great, but his contract gets so expensive. I don't know if he's that good right now. He certainly has been to make that big of a difference for the Bulls, where he'd be worth paying all that money to. I like Dame Lillard. I don't see it.
Well,
I know the rumors are out there. There's no question about that, but I don't understand that from the Bulls' standpoint.
I don't either, unless you want to move Levine. Like it's gone down the path of you can't repair it, and so you got to move on. But here's another thing, like with the Bulls, is at some point they have to win, right? Like we're
ideally sure.
We're hello, my bad. 97 when we're post 97, 98. We've been away from there for a while. That is 2.5 decades. That is a long, largely unsuccessful slog. And to give them a glimmer of hope, is it DeRozan and Levine? Can they provide that? Or is it a spark by Lillard, even with the financial things that would come with it? I don't know. I like my idea of Milwaukee with Holiday for Lillard more than what Chicago would do with Levine. But this whole thing, I think, Whitey, as we get closer to training camp, like we just talked about Buddy Hield. All right, now all of a sudden, Buddy Hield is available out there. So is like Dallas, is Dallas a team that would be interesting for Buddy Hield? I think we're going to have something wild go on here between now and the start of training camp in less than 2 weeks. I still don't think Lillard is going to make it to training camp with the Blazers.
Man, if I'm the Bucks, I would rather have Drew Holiday than Dame Lillard. I want Drew Holiday. I love Drew Holiday. And again, it's not the Dame Lillard, of like 5 years ago. We're talking about a guy who's older, is more injury prone, and gets more and more expensive. That's the whole issue there. So it'll be interesting to see. And he apparently still wants to go to Miami. So,
well, I think Miami played their hand too early, and Portland was able to see it and like, nah, we're good.
There's a report that came out today. I heard this on our station that the Heat apparently have everything. They have an offer out there, and it's a good offer, but the Blazers are just kind of, well, we'll see. They're taking their time. They're trying to gauge the market to see if they want to take the offer. So it may be, my understanding, like a standing offer. Miami says, this is all we can do, so let us know. And the whole thing is just kind of on hold as Portland explores other possibilities and options.
Hey, who are these like leaks and sources? Is it the Portland side? Is it the Miami side? Is it the Lillard side? Because there's all of a sudden there has been a run in the last 48 hours of sources about what Dame Lillard might do, and a mystery team is out there. Is that coming from Portland or Lillard?
It ain't coming from Portland. It's coming from either the Heat or Dame, because they're trying to create the energy that makes something happen, right? They're trying to get a little bit of momentum going, create some kind of push. Portland's just sitting back like, we don't have to do anything right now. And I think they're perfectly happy with that.
Well, I don't know. I think Portland is ready to move on. We talked about the roster construction of who they're, you got Sharp and you got Scoot and Simmons. So they've got a nice, young core, not proven at all. I think they're ready to move on. It would just be awkward to open up training camp in Portland in a couple of weeks and Dame is there, because what are they going to talk about? The upcoming season? No, it's going to be all about, are you going to be here tomorrow?
Right.
Are you going to be here October 24th?
You're right. I think, though, the way they look at it, and it's the way they should look at it, is, that would be awkward. But if we have to go through some awkwardness in order to get what we think we can get for him, it's worth a period of, this is a little awkward. I think that's how they're looking at it, and I think it's the smart play, because they're the only one. We have Dame Lillard, and if you want him, you're going to have to up the ante. That's just the fact of the matter. They've got great leverage here.
Yeah, I think the Heat, man. I think the Heat thought that they were just going to okie doke the Blazers and take a guy that's 33 and has got $216 million left over the next 4 seasons. They were going to get it out there. Portland was just going to be like, okay, there we go, that's good, let's move on. And Portland kind of called their bluff and stood pat. But also, it's unrealistic that just like that, a guy like Lillard would, trade request comes in early July, that he is gone by late July.
By the way, the Bulls don't need Dame Lillard. Nothing against Dame. What they need is to make sure what they needed was to have DeMar DeRozan's daughter at the last game against the Heat, because she won the one game for – no, it was Toronto.
When they were in Toronto, she was screaming during the free throws.
Right. So,
Do we have that sound?
I think it's been outlawed by the state of California. We have it somewhere, but that's what they needed, because they could have advanced if they'd had her. But what was it? DeMar said, well, no, it's a school night, so she can't go. Yeah. All right, well, then you're going home.
How wild is the Miami Heat postseason that they lost in the first play-in game, then they play the Bulls and they win, and they go on this run to extinguish, among others, the Celtics, to make it all the way to the finals.
Mm-hmm. It was crazy, strange. That's part of the reason the NBA is trying to curb teams or discourage teams from all the load management, because teams like the Heat, Jimmy Butler does it. He admits it. I don't really play till the playoffs. And the Warriors last year, they really stumbled through the season and then okay, playoffs, here we go. And the Lakers, to a degree, did that. Remember, they got off to that terrible start.
Yep.
And they were like, it's okay. And so the truth is, teams are realizing part of the season doesn't matter. And that's bad for business. So the league is trying to discourage teams from taking that kind of view, even though it's probably accurate.
Yeah, just get in the tournament.
Yeah.
Just find a way to get in the tournament, and we'll be fine when we get to April.
Mm-hmm. I got some thoughts on load management coming up too here. But first, as promised, Gare, I really could use your help on this. The 5 most stunning things we've seen in the new NFL season. There are at least 5 things that, to me, it's only 2 games in the season. 5 things here that just whoa. And to me, number 1 is Puka Nacua. Am I right? It's
yes.
Who? The guy is literally unbelievable. The numbers he's put up. If you said this, hey, 2 weeks in, Puka Nacua is going to have 25 catches for 266 yards, you'd say, "What? You're out of your mind."
Yeah. You first of all, you'd have to Google to see who it is.
Yes.
No, he is at the top. And after watching him, even more up close in the Niners game the other day, he's legit. I don't think he's a 15 seconds of fame and then he's gone.
Right.
And then they bring back Kupp when he comes back. I think they might have something there. Mm-hmm. And that offense, he's going to thrive.
Mm-hmm. To me, number 2 is that we have 3 NFC South teams that are 2-0. That's well, that can't happen. Well, it's actually happened. Thirdly, the 5 things that to me are most stunning. The fact that, we don't like to talk about it. The Aaron Rodgers injury, when that happened, first series, I was like, what? You got to be kidding me. That was truly and genuinely stunning, if not shocking, was it not, when that happened?
When the whole season was built around him,
yes.
The whole Hard Knocks was built around him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a startling thing to see, where he played essentially 3 minutes on your watch and 4 plays for the Jets.
Yeah, it was just I remember doing something in the backyard, so I didn't get to watch from the start of the game, missed the kickoff, and then I tune in, later in the first quarter. It's like, wait a minute, why is he playing? What's going on here? That was very unfortunate, obviously, but just stunning. Fourth is the fact that even though I predicted both these games, Denver 0-2 at home is just like, you got to be kidding me. After everything Sean Payton did, and they got Russell Wilson, they're 0-2 at home after playing the Commanders and the Raiders. That is stunning.
Oh, there's no doubt that no one, you'd expect them to be 2-0, but under Sean Payton, and also Russell Wilson kind of looking the same. I mean, they're going to be 0-3 this weekend. They're not winning at Miami.
I think you're right. And then fifth and finally in my book is the fact that we had Tua in the opener throw for 466 yards. And how about this, Gary? He has thrown now, Tua Tagovailoa has thrown in 2 games for 715 yards and no touchdowns.
Okay, so he now is like the favorite 2 weeks in to win the NFL MVP.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2 weeks in, that means absolutely nothing. But
2 weeks in.
Yeah, hey, thank you. He kind of deserves it because he's played well since the start of last season. I don't know. Do you feel like people are coming around on Tua?
Yes, I think they should. And last year he got hurt, right? And so people thought, you can't play that guy. He's not going to be any good this year after all the concussions. And thankfully he's recovered. Again, he's a perfect fit for the system, and with the receivers that he has, he's going to do serious damage this year. And I think, he's a legitimate candidate.
Okay, so he's also playing for money because next year, Burrow reset the market.
Mm-hmm.
Tua could do it next spring because he'll be on his 5th year of his rookie contract in 24.
Yep. Payday coming, cha-ching.
So, but that'll be the discussion that we have a lot about quarterbacks is, okay, how comfortable are you, or is it all about timing?
Mm-hmm.
Your contract is up. We think we have a franchise quarterback because we've gone through, literally, it seems like hundreds of quarterbacks since Marino that we're going to have to shell out some money and probably pay him more than they've ever paid a player in Dolphin history.
Yep. That's the way it is now. That happens all the time. So-and-so is the highest paid player in history. Yeah, wait, we'll get back to me next week, right? That's just the nature of the beast. Speaking of quarterbacks, Brock Purdy. I know, Gary, how much you love to talk about Brock Purdy, but I have a legitimate question.
I'm on Team Purdy.
Okay. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard.
I thought you were going to say, you give out the phone numbers and you go, if you don't like Purdy, it's you against Gary. We go to the phone.
There's that too. YouTube chat. What is a franchise quarterback in your view? What is a franchise quarterback? Can Brock Purdy be one? That's
Carlin Davis, you're on the line.
Go get him. Did you hear what Sharp said? Gary Sharp, Whitey Gleason, Sactown Sports.
It's Whitey and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
And then I was selling pretzels out of a cart in San Francisco at the time.
Like the people who sell them at the arena or at the stadiums? Like, did you have like a holler?
Like a pretzel barker?
Pretzel! Something like that. I don't know.
How would that have gone again?
I don't want to do it in case Chris. I'm sure Chris already cut it. Actually, he can. Pretzel. God, I hate him so much.
It's Whitey and Watkins from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by the Arnold Law Firm.
I'm meteorologist Heather Waldman in the KCRA Weather Center. Breezy on the west side of the Sacramento Valley tonight with some gusts to 30 miles per hour. We'll be starting off Thursday in the 50s, ending in the mid-80s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA News and the KCRA app.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down in a heartbeat. So remember to be a little more alert on the road and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. Everyone knows Elk Grove Kia is home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on every new Kia. But did you also know that Elk Grove Kia is your one-stop place for used cars? I'm talking over 300 used cars available. With Kia's certified program, with its 165-point quality assurance inspection, we know peace of mind on used cars is important. And that's why we also offer extended service agreements on all our used makes and models. Most prices are under Kelley Blue Book retail. New car protection protection at used car prices. From used sports cars to used delivery vans, we got them all at Elk Grove Kia. And our financing folks have over 100 years of combined experience. So we approve just about everyone. No credit, little credit, bad credit, no problem. And Elk Grove Kia is proud of our don't like it, bring it back guarantee for up to 3 days or 150 miles, no questions asked. Why would you buy your used car anywhere else? So check us out online at elkgrovekia.com today.
Turn your highway into a smileway. Elk Grove Kia.
Hey, I love your outfit.
It's Stitch Fix. I'd like to thank my stylist for making me look amazing. She sends looks that work for me and my budget. She gets my fit just right. She turns me on to styles I never would have found on my own. Because of her, because of Stitch Fix, I have time to take care of everything else. They just make everything so easy. So thank you, Stitch Fix. My stylist just gets me, and they'll get you too. Stitch Fix. Take your style quiz today at stitchfix.com.
Sometimes progress toward global net zero can be hard to see, invisible even. Like how Chevron is targeting 25 million tons of CO2 per year in storage and offsets by 2030. While at the same time, working with partners to reduce the cost of carbon capture and scale the technology to other industries like cement, innovating toward lower carbon solutions today while helping others do the same for the future. That's energy in progress. Visit chevron.com/carbon capture.
At Harbor Freight, we think you shouldn't have to break the bank to get great tools. Because we know that for some of you, tools are part of the job. And for others, they're just the beginning of making, fixing, restoring, and building. That's why we make high-quality tools that are priced affordably. Because we love being the start of all your working, making, fixing, restoring, and building. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
I love being a bartender. I love waiting tables. But at the end of my shift, my feet were killing me. And so I had to pretend like I was having a good time. And really, I couldn't wait to sit down. But it wasn't just my feet. It was also my knees were achy. A lot of neck pain, too. I was in so much pain. I kind of lost hope, really. And then I saw the Good Feet store, and that's when everything changed.
For over 20 years, we've helped people like Kristen enjoy their work again without their feet getting in the way.
It was pretty shocking to realize that I'd been in so much pain and suddenly I'm completely pain-free. Now that I have the Good Feet arch supports, I don't have to pretend to be happy. I'm genuinely happy. So cheers. My name is Kristen, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
You know, Gary Sharp, a couple days ago, we talked about walk-up music. I considered this song, Plush, Stone Temple Pilots, that I considered this as one of my walk-up songs.
It'd be a great walk-up song.
Mm-hmm. The problem is years ago, around 2000, 2002, a bunch of major league players did versions of popular songs. And I think it was, I don't know if you remember Jeff Conine. He did that song, and I can never hear that song the same way again after hearing Jeff Conine's version of it. So
what was different about it?
Well, he sang it. I mean, it was Jeff.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, and bless him. That's great. But it's like,
yeah.
I used to like that song more than I do after I heard Jeff Conine do it.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, that was bad. Now that I remember that. Oh God.
Yeah,
I
give
thought
him
I
all
was
the
a
credit.
bad singer.
Yeah, I give him credit for like, wow, that's cool. You can do that, but do you have to put it on a record? Whitey Gleason and Gary Sharp with you. Thanks for being with us today as we're gearing up for the 49ers and the Giants course tomorrow night here on Sactown Sports. Confession, Gary, I'm a little concerned about Brock Purdy's overthrows last week.
Well, okay. Here's what you do. Say a couple of Hail Marys. Put your hands together and squeeze them tight and hope that Brock Purdy completes a couple of down the field passes of 20 or more yards. And you should be okay. Thank you.
That's virtually what they were, was Hail Marys. And that's not, when you got a guy open on a seam route, it's not supposed to be a Hail Mary. You're supposed to connect at this level.
Yeah. Okay. So this is, I love this topic and I love talking about him. Can I trade you? And I'm not saying this is not going to catch up to the Niners because there will be a game where a team is going to have a great game plan against him. And despite trying what Shanahan is doing, they're going to have to complete some balls over the top. They're going to have some big plays, like throw the ball 20 yards down the field. But for right now, can I trade you for your concern about the deep threat, which is valid, for he's got poise in the pocket, and he just has a nice, quiet, efficient game, it seems like, every time out.
Yeah, absolutely. But, the way the 49er offense works, and it's not exclusive to the 49ers, but this play sets up that, then we get a deep shot downfield. And one of those, he made a read that surprised Shanahan. I was like, wow, that was a great job. But my point is, as you know, when you get that deep shot, it's there, boom, you got to connect. So, they missed one.
Yeah.
Well, he missed two. Whoa. He missed three wide open. He obviously felt it. He was talking about, I got to do a better job. It's a little concerning, though. You miss one, two, three. He missed three wide open shots, whether it's, he missed or he's recovering from the procedure. It's a little, I'll be honest, and I'm a Purdy guy. I've defended Brock Purdy on these airwaves against, all kinds of slings and arrows, but that was a little concerning to me.
Yeah, and the three, so it was Ayuk, Samuel, and then he had the Jennings one.
Yes.
That was wide open. Yeah, no, I think this is a concern. And you know what, actually, Whitey, it might be a concern for like a while going forward. But again, I think they trade. So I talk about poison in the pocket. Here's another wild thing about Purdy is he's fifth in 2 weeks in the yards per attempt. A lot of that was helped against the Steelers. But the Giants blitz a lot. So tomorrow night, I expect the Giants to blitz a lot because that's what they do. They're fourth in the NFL.
Because they have to, right?
Yeah, and they don't generate a lot of pressure.
Right.
So they blitz, but they don't get home very often. There's one thing about Purdy, and he might just be, I don't know, like just unique in his skill set, is when he is blitzed, not pressured, but blitzed, he has the third best success rate in the last 2 years in the league. He's completing 66% of those passes. And his yards per attempt is in the top 10. It's like 8.5. So you have to you trade some things. He's unique. It's I know we're going to talk about franchise quarterbacks, but he's just one of those unique quarterbacks that has a different skill set that maybe that part of his game gets fixed, but at least early on in your career as an NFL quarterback, the things that ruin quarterbacks early in their career, he seems to have figured out.
I'd like to think that the reason he's so successful against the blitz is because he recognizes it so well, so quickly, better than most. I buy all that stuff about what a great score he posted at, in college in the S2 cognition scores. So I'm guessing that has something to do with it. You blitz him and he's going to recognize sooner than most exactly what you're doing. It's just, you can't miss on three of those. And if he doesn't from here on, fine. But here are some interesting thoughts, by the way, speaking of quarterbacks, on the text line, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. We've talked about Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson, some interesting thoughts here from the 916. The thing about Cousins is he's both of those things. He can be absolutely horrible, or he can be absolutely looking like one of the best in the league, very hot and cold. It's unpredictable whether he'll be hot or cold. And then we have someone saying, I'm a Russell Wilson fan. You didn't watch the first two games. If you claim he looks the same as last year, the issue has not been Wilson. It has been the defense. So some interesting thoughts from some very knowledgeable fans here on the quarterbacks we've been discussing.
Russell Wilson go as far as Sean Payton in designing that offense. That's just. I don't think Russell Wilson can fix the offense. I think Sean Payton has to help him fix that offense.
But and this has nothing to do with Russell Wilson, I don't think. But we had Sean Payton after last game saying, we got to cut down on the verbiage in the huddle. Well, you were the guy that was just saying before the season started what a disaster the last coach was, and now you're going to complain publicly about, it was too much verbiage. We can't get the plays off or get them in time. That's terrible. That's embarrassing.
Yeah. Now back to the texter. I will agree with him on this, and this isn't Russell Wilson's fault. Their offensive line has been disappointing, and like we remember when he was in Seattle. It seemed like he hardly ever got touched, or he was he was elusive.
Yes.
Like with the Broncos, man, he does take a beating. I'll go to bat for him. They need to protect him because I think he is. So he's been sacked, I know, 9 times. It's C.J. Stroud, Daniel Jones, and then Russell Wilson have been sacked the 3 most times in the NFL. And he's only thrown the ball like 75 times. So that's a lot when you're not only getting sacked, but also he gets hit. I mean, he gets touched up almost, it seemed like, every 3rd or 4th pass. That's not on him. They got to fix that offensive line. But see, they got to fix things around him to help him run that offense.
You still think he's capable, if they shore up some things around him, of being an elite, better than average, a really good quarterback that can lead you to victories that other quarterbacks couldn't?
I just don't think his deficiencies as a pure pocket passer. I don't think you're going to drastically improve this late in your career.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, very sobering start to season
and also
for them.
it's kind of like something's not happening. It may be just because, man, every time I drop back,
Hasn't Judy been hurt also? Haven't they been a little shorthanded?
Yeah, they have had some bad injury luck. I like their roster construction, but they have had some bad injury luck. But also Russell Wilson. So I'm going to go back. There's a play in the Raiders game that he stares down Cortland Sutton. Like Cortland Sutton is wide open and he doesn't throw it. And what happens? Got sacked.
Got to get the ball out. We got to get the ball out.
Well, that's okay. So I know Russell Wilson has won a Super Bowl and Purdy is in his 2nd year in the league. But there's another thing of Purdy that I can trade with you if you're talking about the deep throws and hey, there was a walk-in touchdown against the Rams with Samuel, is Purdy season throws. And a lot of quarterbacks, whether you watch a lot of college or even some of, like Bryce Young the other night, Whitey, like they see it and in their progressions in their head, okay, he's open, but I don't throw it. And that's where you got to connect the head and the arm and all of that works together. And then once you flip the switch, but there's a lot of quarterbacks, like Fields is bad on that too, and he holds on to the ball, and the next thing you know, he's laying on the ground with a defender on top of him.
Yeah, I get all that, and I know you're framing it in terms of a trade-off that I would be willing to make with Brock Purdy, but I just think whether you're Brock Purdy or Russell Wilson or Kirk Cousins or Mike Tomczak, when you get 3 of those in a game, you got to hit. You can't miss on all 3. And sometimes, if it's like, oh, well, it happened. Okay. But it concerns me a little bit going forward. Last year, the concern was, well, he couldn't always get the ball there. And so his first workout this year, back off the procedure, he overthrew somebody and everyone was trying to make that like, that's great. Look at that. He overthrew him. But if it continues, it's going to be a real problem. And what also will continue here when we come right back is the conversation. What is a franchise quarterback, and can Brock Purdy be one? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. It's Gary Sharp, Whitey Gleason, Sactown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season?
Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995?
Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm meteorologist Heather Waldman in the KCRA Weather Center. Breezy on the west side of the Sacramento Valley tonight with some gusts to 30 miles per hour. We'll be starting off Thursday in the 50s, ending in the mid-80s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA News and the KCRA app.
Plumbing, electrical, heating and air, everything that makes your home your home. With Bonnie, you sure got that covered. And right now, get your air conditioner tuned up for just $79. Originally $129. Bonnie.com.
Bonnie.
MVP's bonus days are back at Lowe's. Shop the largest selection of Klein tools and get 5 times the bonus points. Plus, right now, buy a DeWalt Power Stack battery kit and get a select DeWalt Bear tool free, up to a $249 value. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid 9/18 through 9/29. Subject to change. DeWalt offer valid through 10/11.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton and Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton and Price in your corner. When you call Ashton and Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real live person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
For a business to thrive, there needs to be a constant stream of new customers. This happens through strong lead generation. Did you know that lead generation is one of the most important tools of any marketing campaign? Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products and services to them. To get started today, contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results today.
When I want to stretch out after a long day, my sofa needs to be comfortable, but it also needs to look attractive and inviting when guests come to visit. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. We spend so much time on our living room sofas that we forget they're a focal point and a hint to our decorating tastes. Right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings sofa sale, you can save on every sofa, including gallery-exclusive custom-ordered FlexSteel furniture. Whether you're interested in a new sofa, sectional, or recliner, you can choose from hundreds of colors and fabrics. Nobody has more styles and choices than Naturewood Home Furnishings. And when it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop Naturewood for the look you love at a price you'll love even more. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable sofa sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com. 0
down with approved credit.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
Thank you for being with us today. Thanks for your participation. Really enjoying the conversation with the smartest listeners in radio and JR. So we appreciate that. JR's the guy. He's my guy. He knows that. Having really interesting conversations here about NFL quarterbacks. Gary Sharp sharing with us his infinite football knowledge. Yes, sir.
Hey, can I? So I want to go back to yesterday in our discussion about Halloween and Simone's Halloween decorations that are up. I think I was getting trolled because I went to the grocery store before we went on air. I had to grab a couple of things, and I walk in, and the whole place is like shifted over to now we are in full Halloween mode.
Really?
Yeah, and now I'm really puzzled, and I think this sounds great. I ran across candy corn crunch trail mix. I don't know if Whitey, if you're a candy corn guy, and maybe this is the only time of the year you eat candy corn, which is everywhere.
Wow.
But they have now candy corn trail mix, which remember also trail mix used to be healthy.
Right.
And then it basically has just become a bag of candy.
Yeah, there was a time when trail mix is like, well, that's not chocolate, it's carob. Ooh, and put chocolate in, right?
Yeah, and then you were like considered you were eating healthy if you were eating trail mix.
Yeah, and now it's like here's a bag of M&Ms with a couple pretzels in it. Here's your trail mix. Go get them. You're gonna be healthy. Good luck on the trail.
But now we have candy corn crunch trail mix.
That's a pass for me. That's a hard pass.
I don't like candy corn, but gosh, the mixture. Now I will tell you this: if you do a little candy corn with popcorn and then you put peanut M&Ms in it,
consider it. Yeah, I'll consider it. Yeah.
But candy corn is on the list of like if you go to Simone's house for Halloween, if you can tell if she likes you or not, because if she goes candy corn, black licorice, those orange and black wrapped peanut butter candies, or any hard candy, she doesn't like you.
Oh, or if you get, instead of candy, you get like one of those plastic spider rings. It's like, what?
What a letdown as a kid.
Yeah, I know. Really?
What do I do with this?
A spider ring. I can't even wear it tomorrow because Halloween's over. Yeah.
You'd like start arguing with the homeowner. What is this?
I would not be above that. Would not be above arguing with the homeowner.
You cheapskate.
And you're sounding like Darth Vader right now through no fault of your own, adding to the Halloween element here. But we'll get that straightened out. Interesting thoughts here on the YouTube chat as far as quarterbacks go. Derek says Russell Wilson is definitely not the player he used to be. A lot of things outside of the pocket and decision-making that he does a lot worse, and his old line was never amazing in Seattle. Great points. Jason says, I was impressed by Purdy's 2-minute drill at the end of the half. No timeouts. Changed the whole game. Never look back. If all we can call out is a few passes, I think we'll be all right. So, again, some very cogent quarterback comments.
Hey, subtle move at the end of the first half on Sunday at SoFi is Shanahan being aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they could have gone to the locker room and been down a touchdown. And you're like, okay, I still feel pretty good. But that sent a message.
Do you know why? Because he's said this. I would have no idea, but he has mentioned he'll kick that field goal. Do you know why he doesn't throw Hail Marys at the end of the half? Kyle Shanahan.
No.
Kyle Shanahan says he learned that from his dad. He said his dad taught him if you do that and it gets picked off, let's say the quarterback was having a good half, then he gets one picked off, and then in the third quarter he gets picked off. All of a sudden your quarterback has 2 interceptions, and then he doesn't want to throw the ball. And Mike taught Kyle it's not worth it. Your quarterback, if it gets intercepted, it gets in his head, you're just better off not taking that shot. Now, you can say that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, but that's what he's on record as saying that's part of his thinking when it comes to not taking those shots at the end of a half.
I could see that because of the way he operates. Like, again, that touchdown, that like, okay, I have a feel good going into the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden the game is tied.
Mm-hmm. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Tin joins us on Sactown Sports. Hey, Tin, thanks for hanging on. You're on with Gary Sharp, Whitey Gleason. What's up?
What's up?
Hey.
How do you guys think Daniel Jones' stat line is going to look tomorrow night?
What do you think, Gare? Daniel Jones, we talked about irrational fears earlier. Kyle Shanahan is very wary of Daniel Jones. Some would say an irrational fear. I don't know.
I will go Daniel Jones, 12 of 23 for 158 yards.
And how many yards rushing? Let me do the rushing. He's going to have 7 carries for a solid, like 56 yards. He's going to,
That wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't be bad.
Yeah. And another L, right?
I think a couple interceptions as well.
What do you think, Tin?
I think you guys are spot on. He may have a rushing touchdown. He's just, he's capable of that. It's prime time, and they're Big Blue. So I think that they're, it's prime time. So it's going to be a shootout. I hope so.
Thank you. I think it's going to be shoot down. I don't know if the Giants have the wherewithal to participate in a good old fashioned shootout, Thursday Night Football or not. Thank you.
That's the only way they have to win is they get, a couple of weird, wacky touchdowns where all of a sudden you go, oh, geez, it's 14-14. No, like you said, you said 27. I just don't see him reaching that.
No,
against
I don't either.
This Niner defense, and I think the Niners will find a way to score. I said early in the week, like 31-35-10, and no Barkley. I'm still sticking with that.
Mm-hmm. Let me pin you down here. I know I keep throwing this out there. In your view, what is a franchise quarterback? And can Brock Purdy, if he isn't already, can Brock Purdy be a franchise quarterback? Does he need to be?
I don't know. We'd love to have these discussions when we're sitting back in the office. Isn't this a tough discussion because you got to define? Everybody's got a different definition of what a franchise quarterback is.
I think it's pretty simple.
Like, is it? But it's over an extended period of time before you say that's a franchise quarterback, correct?
Right. I think it's got to be a guy who holds down the job, is productive, and wins over an extended period. And because I know for some people, it's like, well, you've got to win a Super Bowl. No, I don't think so. I mean, but if that's your definition, fine. I just think a franchise quarterback is a guy who, like Dak Prescott has been for the Cowboys. Yeah. In my opinion, he has been a franchise quarterback for them.
I agree. Because so he's got to be the face of the franchise. And then I think I look at it as, okay, now the franchise builds their team around him with a legit shot at postseason success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know that Purdy's there, and I don't know that he'll get there.
Oh, I'm a Brock Purdy guy.
No. You can be successful without a franchise quarterback. The way the Niners are built, you don't need the guy that is the man. You need to have him be part of it. I mean, look at the Niners haven't had a franchise quarterback since Steve Young said adios in '99. And everybody is looking for one. I mean, we talked about the Dolphins. They haven't found one since Marino. Heck, the Bears, maybe the only franchise quarterback they've ever had is Sid Luckman. And I don't know about you, but I never saw Sid Luckman play.
Only a little bit.
I've just seen
late in his career.
Thank God YouTube existed. But I don't know. I think like the Purdy conversation here is like really early. Could he be? Maybe. But I think we're probably 2 years away from going, that's a franchise quarterback. That's a guy that will play his entire career here.
I agree. You can't just play. He hasn't even played a whole season yet. He's getting close to it overall. But yeah, to me, a franchise quarterback. Would you disagree? Franchise quarterback. He has to be a very effective quarterback for you for an extended period where for several seasons or more, the team knows who the quarterback is and they're successful during that time. And so is he. To me, it's that simple. If you have a guy like that, that's a franchise quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, we could have the debate of, okay, what if the Niners, since Steve Young, had a franchise quarterback, would they have had another Super Bowl, along the way? But look at, I think of like the Jets. The Jets finally got a franchise quarterback. They had gone from Namath to Aaron Rodgers. So you're almost at 5 decades, Whitey. The Vikings haven't had a franchise quarterback since Tarkington. Heck, the Cardinals haven't had one. Probably Washington since Theismann. The Browns have been searching since Kosar. So then you go out and you give $230 million to Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty maybe, but again, I think it's probably a couple of years away as he develops as a quarterback to go, that's the guy. Now we are, as he gets his big payday, we're going to build the franchise around him. And because we have him, we're going to be knocking on the door of the postseason every year.
I agree with you. I think it's a matter of, he's got to continue to do it. But to me, it's not a question of, I don't know if he can be that good. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. But I don't look at him and say he is lacking in critical areas that may prevent him from being a franchise quarterback. I think it's just a matter of, can he keep doing it time over time? To me, that's the question.
Yeah, I mean, some franchises are lucky, like the Broncos, going back to the Bronco discussion. I mean, they went from John Elway, and then they did go through a run. I mean, we remember the Jake Plummer days, to finally Peyton Manning. And then I think they thought when they acquired Russell, hey, we got a franchise quarterback,
Mm-hmm. Oh, the greatest quarterback, and people disagree with me, greatest quarterback in Broncos history is, of course, Brock Osweiler. It's tremendous. Tremendously underrated. Coming up next, the 49er pass rush. Is it possible the 49er pass rush right now is overrated? Next, with Gary Sharp, Whitey Gleason, Sactown Sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Who do they decide on for the Super Bowl?
What do you mean, halftime act?
Yeah. I know that Taylor Swift.
Yeah, turned him down, right?
At what point do people turn on Taylor Swift and be like, why don't you lower your prices? And I understand the whole Ticketmaster thing, but what about the merch? Like, legit, do you have to make $1 billion? Could you make 500 million? Could you?
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
It's time now for the Silver and Black Report, brought to you by ACR Solar and Home Services. Well, week 2 was not kind to the Raiders as they were roughed up in Buffalo. After a decent start to the game, it got out of hand quickly. They played without their leading receiver from week 1, Jacoby Myers, and also saw star wide receiver Devontae Adams get evaluated with a head injury late in the game. Josh Jacobs had his worst rushing day as a pro, and the defense couldn't keep them in the game either. 1-1 after 2. What's ahead? Well, the home opener this Sunday. That's your Silver and Black Report, brought to you by ACR Solar and Home Services.
Did you hear about ACR Solar's free home battery special? Well, for a limited time, get a free LG Chem 10H home battery with a minimum purchase of 12 solar panels. Now, you'll own the system outright with no leasing involved. The offer includes 10-year parts and labor warranty for your added security and peace of mind. Take advantage of a 30% tax credit on your solar panel purchase, as the offer is limited to the first 100 customers only. Visit acrsolar.com to get the offer. The number 916-481-7200.
Some days, my active psoriatic arthritis makes it hard to get in the game. Now, the ball is in my court, thanks to treating my skin and joints with Skyrizi, Risankizumab Risa, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults.
Nothing is everything.
Skyrizi helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Fall is here, and Good Guys Heating and Cooling wants to make sure you're taken care of through the month of September. From now until September 30th, book any tune-up or troubleshooting appointment and get 100% of the trip charge credited back on any completed repairs. Normal big box companies charge $89 or more. Why not put that toward what needs to be fixed? Call Good Guys Heating and Cooling now at 530-GOOD-AIR. That's 530-GOOD-AIR. Or book your appointment now at goodguysheatingcooling.com. Best service, best price, guarantee. And that's no bull. License number 1057618.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
As a mom, I'd do anything to keep my child out of physical pain. As a doctor, I know that growth spurts can cause pain in my child's feet, and that can affect their legs and back too.
This is Dr. Pamela Maida, a board-certified orthopedic surgeon.
Children especially benefit from arch supports as a sturdy and supportive foundation for their developing feet. If your kids have pain, then I recommend Youth Arch Supports from the Good Feet store.
Youth Arch Supports are designed to alleviate, even eliminate common pain in the feet, knees, hip, or back. If your child is physically active with sports, clubs, or even on the playground, they may benefit from the comfort and support found in Good Feet Youth Arch Supports.
I firmly believe that investing in Youth Arch Supports for your child or teen is one of the best decisions you can make to support their feet.
See how Youth Arch Supports can help with a free arch support fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store. Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
Model year-end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year-end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber, down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
The
only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
What if I told you Brock Purdy is going to the Hall of Fame? What if I told you he's already there? Whitey Gleason, Gary Sharp with you. Sactown Sports brought to you by Folsom Lake Honda. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. How about that, Gary Sharp? What if I told you Brock Purdy is already in the Hall of Fame as we speak?
I would tell you that, man, that's pretty cool what Iowa State did for him.
Now in Canton are the cleats that Brock Purdy wore during the 49ers win in week 1 this season when he became the first quarterback in NFL history to start his career 6-0 with 2 or more touchdown passes in each game. That's on X from Pro Football Hall of Fame. And there's a picture of it right there. NBCSportsBayArea.com has a picture of the football and there's a picture of Brock Purdy, nice display case, and his shoes are there. So Brock Purdy's shoes are already in the Hall of Fame. There it is.
That guy is living like the best life. I mean, it just look at, he was the last pick. He wasn't expected to play last year. All of a sudden, through injury, he's thrust into a situation. He gets to the NFC Championship game, and now he's got part of his equipment is sitting in Canton. This is really like an amazing story that is so far from being done.
Well, if he wins a Super Bowl, and even if he doesn't, but if he wins a Super Bowl, there will be a movie, right? And it will probably be terrible, but there will be a movie about that.
I mean, why not? It's like I don't know. There's some people that don't want to believe. It's going to take a run to the Super Bowl to be playing in Vegas or next year in the Super Bowl. But I think this is like there's so many negative things. I'm gonna be real sappy here. There are so many negative things in sports, and and we spend our time arguing, and we do talk about the negative.
No, we don't.
Stuff.
Oh, dang it.
Well, we're on Positive Wednesday. Even though I know your partner Chris, I was told to say on Wednesdays when we do shows together that he's Wet Blanket Wednesday.
That's right.
That this is like a great story. Like a guy who just wanted to be quarterback. He got an opportunity, and now he is taking this opportunity and running with it. And he's a quarterback of one of the most iconic franchises in professional sports. And, oh, by the way, right now they're the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, that's when sports is at its best, when it inspires us. However, it inspires us. And there's certainly, if you choose to be inspired by something like that, well, there you go. There's a great story, inspirational story of someone that overcoming all this and achieving so much already.
I mean, look at, didn't you say yesterday he's because they started airing in the Sacramento area, he's doing Toyota commercials?
Yes. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking about Brock Purdy is now on. He probably has more commercials than anybody else on the Niners has a commercial that's running in multiple Northern California markets.
That's a great question. I hadn't thought of that. There isn't anybody that comes to mind. I'm sure Jake Moody will get one soon, probably by week 4. But I think you're right about that. Yeah.
And you take him out of San Francisco, and let's take him out of the NFC West. How many people recognize him like without a helmet on and a uniform, like just standing up at a podium on Wednesday in his regular media?
I wouldn't guess many, but I often underestimate fans, true fans. They can spot players. Hockey players, football players. But to your point, yeah, I agree with you. Because he's, I don't even know is he 6 feet tall? I think he might be 5'11". So you just, it's kind of like reminds me of the stories we're talking when John Stockton when they were in the Olympics and he was just walking around and no one had any idea who he was. Yeah. That's John Stockton. No, it's not. Come on.
Well, people know who John Stockton is now.
Yes. Stephen Torres on the chat here, YouTube chat. Okay. Thank you, Stephen. He says, Giants are out 2 linemen. I believe Andrew Thomas is a starter. I'm not sure about the other clown. But regardless, our D-line needs and will dominate tomorrow in my mind. Is the 49er defensive line right now, Gare? Just a question.
Yeah.
Is the 49er defensive line overrated as we speak right now?
Wow. Overrated? Did we forget about what happened week 1?
How many sacks did Bosa have week 1?
Okay. So, yes. But he also played only 35 snaps.
Mm-hmm. He didn't have any snaps yet.
Okay, so here's how we look at it. Okay,
how many sacks did the 49ers have last week?
I don't believe maybe 1 or 2.
They had one on Fred Warner on a blitz.
Okay, yes, they did. So that was
how many sacks last week?
No, but 0. I see where you're going here.
I'm just asking the question.
Okay, but you recognize them though, right?
Yes.
Like in the second half, you recognize them. They made Matthew Stafford more uncomfortable in the second half than they did in the first half. I didn't have to go look at the box score to go, hey, I wonder if Jackson played.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Bosa played.
Well, and as you know better than I mean, you've covered a lot of football. I know that, honestly. Gary has done a lot of football games, covered a lot of football, but it's not as simple as, well, they don't, where's the sacks? Because we know that the Rams, they schemed for that defensive line. They got the ball out quickly. But as Matt Mayoko points out, you have here really 3 starter caliber defensive linemen here with the 49ers. You have Bosa, you have Hargrave, you have Armstead. Bosa, obviously, his numbers have been off the charts, and Hargraves have as well. Eric Armstead, Sacramento guy. Love Eric Armstead. As far as sacks, 2019, he had a 10-sack season. Other than that, he's never had a season in which he put up a lot of sacks. So last year, the 49ers, that's why they got Hargrave, right? Because last year, the defensive line, the defensive front didn't quite get the pressure on quarterbacks that they wanted. So, yeah, I ask, are they overrated? That's probably overstating it right now, but it is an issue. They need to get more pressure on the quarterback than they got last week because their defense relies on that.
So I'm guessing. So I'm just reading into because I think I know your feeling. You want them to be better because you're afraid of what's on the back end.
Well, yeah, they have. That's the thing. So it's not a matter of, well, they're getting all this money, blah, blah, blah. No, they need, and Steve Wilkes did a great job last week of getting the pressure through blitzing. But this team is built, it relies defensively on pressure on the quarterback from the defensive front. So I have no problem believing that Bosa will round into shape. Maybe we'll start to see that as soon as tomorrow night. That certainly isn't unreasonable. To Steven's point, but it's very important that they get improved play in that area. I don't think that's a unfair thing to say.
Yeah, they need Bosa, they need Hargrave, they need Jackson, Armstead, Kinlaw, not to commit his 1 penalty a game that we know he's going to get tomorrow night. They also do. So there's a thing, and then this is again of the linebackers and your DBs is they're getting pressure, so they are getting. And I know, like, if you're into PFF, they do this weird, like, quick pressure rate. And I think the Niners are fairly – they're top 10 in that category. There's just way too many numbers. But they do a good job of getting to the quarterback and pressuring the quarterback, not necessarily equating to a sack.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what they did well against the Rams when they adjusted in the second half. Yeah, we'd all like to see sack numbers. And I do believe they will go up. But they're getting back to the quarterback. It's just, is Stafford completing a pass to Kyron Williams that goes 25 yards down the field before you make the tackle? That's on the DB's not making a play also, but not, your highly paid front 3 not getting to the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But tomorrow it's going to be skewed because that Giants offensive line down 2 starters. And especially if Daniel Jones is not like the quick game or he's not able to run the bootleg. Like they're able to contain him. It'll be ugly, and he'll go down the line.
Well, my go-to guys on the 49ers, Chris Biederman, who's on with Chris Watkins every, I think that'd be Tuesdays he's on now. Pardon me for not knowing that. I believe he's on Tuesdays. Matt Barrows, who's on with Carmichael Dave in the morning, and the truly great, and he's a great guy, Matt Mayoko. And here's what Matt Mayoko wrote today about the 49ers defensive front, the pass rush specifically at NBC Sports Bay Area. Quote, "The Rams made it difficult on the pass rush, but even without that kind of challenge, we're still not ready to hold up the 49ers pass rush as one of the best in the NFL." He says it's totally reasonable to expect more from that unit. So, yeah, that's something to keep an eye on. They're 2-0, and that's great, but they will need to get to where they want to get to. They will need more pressure from their defensive front going forward. There's just no way around that.
Hey, so let me give you some numbers on Kinlaw. Because I'm vibing with what you're saying here. So Kinlaw has not sacked the quarterback in the first 2 games, and he has 1 tackle. But he has 6 hurries. He had 4 hurries all regular season last year. So what does that say about him?
That says he's improved in his ability to beat his man and put pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, that's where we get, and I fall into this as well. We look at a traditional box score, and we don't see that he shows up, and we're like,
oh, you're right.
What's that guy doing?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is he ever? And that's going to be the problem with the Niners is Kinlaw has just disappeared.
Mm-hmm. If I'm going to be take a more jaded view of that, I would say, well, look, now you got Hargrave in there. You got Bosa's back. You better be getting pressure
Yeah.
on the quarterback, or what are you doing? Right?
Well, yeah. Well, tomorrow they're going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not fine, then we're in a tension convention in the fourth quarter in Santa Clara.
Yeah. And we're very nitpicky because this is a team that has a chance to actually get to the Super Bowl and win it. So all these little things, it matters now. And especially getting pressure on the quarterback for the 49ers matters, because that's the foundation of everything they do. Obviously, you're not going to score points with your defensive line, but I think everything they do ultimately is built on their defensive line.
Okay, so if I asked you, let's say I come into this conversation and I'm not a Niners fan at all, and I really don't follow the 49ers outside of, hey, I know McCaffrey and I know the Purdy story. What would you say to a stranger, Whitey, is the identity of the San Francisco 49ers right now in 2023, getting ready on the eve of their third game of the season?
We run the football and we stop the run. And we're very physical.
And that's how they win games.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then they play into that.
Mm-hmm.
You're spot on.
Yeah, we talk about teams. What's their identity? 49ers know what their identity is. Coming up next year, I don't know that this will be popular. I'm going to try to explain why, in my view, we're all going to have to learn to live with load management. All right?
Are we talking about talk show hosts or NBA?
NBA. Yeah, Carmichael Dave's load definitely needs to be managed. There's no way around that. That's next year. Gleason and Sharp, Sactown Sports.
The 49ers are in primetime this Thursday against the Giants.
Touchdown!
Pre-game coverage starts at 4:15 with kickoff at 5:15.
On Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
If that sound gives you nightmares, there's a cheap and easy way to avoid engines not firing. Stable, America's #1 fuel stabilizer, ensures quick and easy starts after storage. Stable's proprietary formula keeps fuel fresh for 2 years, outperforming competitors. Pour Stable in your gas can or directly into the tank of your car, truck, hybrid, boat, ATV, motorcycle, or lawnmower to prevent fuel-related engine problems that cost time and money. When you store, start with Stable.
Sactown Sports is home to the Kings, Niners, and now the business of sports. Hosted by Kelly Brothers and brought to you by Cap Trust, offering customized, independent financial advice at captrust.com. Join Kelly Brothers, Carmichael, Dave, and Jason as they look at the business of sports every Thursday at 7:40 a.m. You want to know how sports really work? Follow the money with Kelly Brothers from Cap Trust on Sactown Sports.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916, Sactown Sports.
49ers and the New York Football Giants tomorrow. Is that okay, Gary? I know it's kind of old-fashioned to call them New York Football Giants. Are you all right with that if I say that?
I'm Big Blue.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Big Blue.
Uh-huh. I think wasn't it like Howard Cosell or somebody used the New York Football Giants? Anyway.
It seems very pretentious.
It does. Yeah, it is a little bit. You used to have the St. Louis Cardinals in baseball and football. I think it was quite common. I'm talking way back when to pretty much name the football team after the baseball team. I think there was Pittsburgh Pirates, I think, were a football team at one point. Could be mistaken there, but everything was baseball. Can you imagine that? Baseball was king, and football was like just something to do until spring training starts. Can you imagine that?
Well, can you imagine if you were a fan of the New York Giants but not a fan of the other New York Giants?
I'm getting like a brain freeze. Yeah, it's not working for me. I don't know. Who would you rather be a fan of right now? The football Giants or the baseball Giants?
Ooh. Pass.
I think I'd go baseball Giants. They're still mathematically in contention despite today's 7-1 loss to the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah, but that's to lose 2 games and then where you're going this weekend.
Yeah, I know. They're a 500 team now, the Giants, SF Giants.
But I do say this. You were bringing up the standings, how the Padres are on the heels of the Giants in the wild card race. Is what season would you rather have, the Giants or the Padres? Remember, the Padres were not. The Padres were supposed to win the West, like going away.
Mm-hmm.
and the Padres are going to have to make a decision on Soto, Hader, and Blake Snell in the offseason on what they're going to do there. And they spent all this money, and they're not going to be in the postseason, and they could finish behind the Giants.
Yes, it looks
and
like
they're all going to finish behind the Diamondbacks, which is a heck of a job by Torey Lovello.
I think the answer right now appears to be the Giants, but I'm going to wait and see because I think they play each other next week. So we'll wait and see about that. I understand your larger point, though. Buddy Hield, and thank you, Gary pointed this out to me. I hadn't realized this. Buddy Hield, contract talks between the Pacers and Buddy Hield have stalled out, and it looks like both sides maybe are now working to find a potential trade suitor for Buddy Hield, the former Sacramento King.
He's still got game. I mean, I'm really surprised that they've made this decision this early on. You could go to training camp, but I watch out for Dallas.
Multiple teams expected, according to The Athletic, to express interest in a possible trade for Buddy Hield. Last year of his contract, $19.2 million, slated to be one of the top free agents next summer. The NBA leader in three-pointers made over the last 5 seasons. Yeah, Buddy Hield is the NBA leader in three-pointers made over the last 5 seasons.
Well, okay, so let's go a step further here. Behind Steph, is he the second best three-point shooter in the NBA?
Well, I want to look at the numbers. I didn't mean to
put you on the spot.
No. I'm a big, I want to look at the shooting percentages, but he's right up there because obviously he's right up there. You wouldn't ask the question. He may be, and I think that's saying a lot, but over the last 5 seasons, he's got 1381 and Steph at 1261 and then Dame at 1118.
Yeah. Well, and there's also, like Steph is an outlier that shoots better than 40% from beyond the arc. Buddy Hield, I think, has like over a stretch here the last 5 or 6 years, he has been close to a 40% averaging from 3-point range.
Yeah, he's he's an elite 3-point shooter. He's not just, pretty good. To your point, some guys, even good 3-point shooters, sometimes they're a little streaky year to year. He is an absolute elite shooter, but I just, there are a lot of other things in this game he doesn't do as well, and I think that's why we end up in a situation where he's in now with the Pacers.
Hey, he's the all-time. It's weird because I watched him in college. He played a game at KU. Oklahoma and KU played just an epic college basketball game that went multiple overtimes, and Buddy Hield nearly scored 50 at Allen Fieldhouse, and it was like a big Monday game on ESPN. It was one of the great performances, and that's where I'm like, I'm a Buddy Hield fan. From the 16 draft, he is the leading scorer, the all-time leading scorer from the 16 draft. He's also somebody, and I know you want to talk about load management. Buddy Hield doesn't miss many games.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like he is one of the more durable, and he always, whenever he's available or trade talks come up at the trade deadline, seems like every team wants him. But man, he plays every night that you're watching the Pacers. He's in the lineup, so kudos to him. I think he could make a difference. But I also don't think. If you're like the Bucks and we're talking about making Giannis happy and helping Giannis, man, could the Bucks be a place for him as well?
The other thing about Buddy is that when he was here, ultimately he wasn't happy. He goes to Indiana and now he's not happy. Do I want to sign up for that again? Am I willing to give him enough money to make him happy for now? And how long is that going to last? Given the shooting is incredible and he's an amazing shooter, but what else am I getting from him? Can't play him. He's not a combo guard. So that's the issue with Buddy Hield.
Well, and you have to worry about the defense as well.
Right. Absolutely. Well, you don't have to worry about it because you're not going to get any. We don't have to worry about that. you know the deal going in. So it's like, okay, I guess you're okay.
Hey, can you imagine Kevin Pritchard, the GM there, saying that?
Yeah. I'm sure they do. It's like, yeah.
You've seen the tape.
How is it that the Kings were 25th? Was that their number in defensive rating last year? But on the road, they were like 8th. It's like, I've never seen anything like that in my life. I don't understand that.
No, but there's, I remember I looked at this probably a couple of months ago, and learning more about the Kings. Their road and home splits across the board are really wild.
Yes.
And it's not like, the Golden One Center is a terrible place to play, and we'd rather play on the road. I think probably also when you're playing at home, you look at the game, and there's also a couple of games that got kind of skewed with numbers and big numbers on both sides, is they almost seem like the Kings last year, like leaned into the atmosphere, that it was high energy. And so we are more efficient and we're going to go up and down the floor. I mean, you saw that like in a little bit of a comparison in the Warriors series to the home games, to the road games, where we know the Kings had great success when they sped up the Warriors. Like at home, it appeared that the Kings were faster. And then on the road, they were more methodical. But you're right. That's a wild split in terms of that metric.
It's really inexplicable. They played, just to my eye, watching, they just on the road, they played with a chip on their shoulder more. Whereas at home, it seemed like they were almost like, man, this is great. We're the Kings. On the road, they played like, none of these people take us seriously. And I think that was part of the advantage too. I think some teams, especially early, did not take them as seriously as they did. Then they'd realize, like third quarter, we're going to lose.
Yeah.
This team is beating us, and there's nothing we can do about it. They're not going to sneak up on anybody this year.
No. I got a email here. Somebody saying, what about the Suns? This is what's going to happen, people, with Buddy, is there's going to be this 15-team trade that Lillard will be involved in. The next thing you know, Buddy Hield will be backing up Austin Reeves at the shooting guard for the Lakers.
That's the second time you've said that, Buddy Hield to the Lakers. First time we just ignored it. That's the second time. I know it makes sense. It's logical. Don't get me wrong, but we don't need to talk about that right now. We're having a perfectly enjoyable Wednesday.
Hey, haven't you heard that because of Christian Wood and the extension for Vanderbilt, the Lakers are, why even play the regular season? Just have the whole franchise do load management until April.
Mm-hmm. Sure. That's enough about Buddy Hield going there. They had their chance with Buddy Hield, as
did.
you know, and LeBron said, we'd rather have Westbrook. And he scuttled the deal, or that would have happened, and it would have been for Kyle Kuzma.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe it's good that didn't work out.
Well, hey, you won't have to worry about load management with Buddy.
Mm-hmm. All right, I got to make my case about load management. I will do that next. You and Gary can come at me, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Chat, YouTube. It's next here. It's Whitey and Gary Sharp, Sactown Sports.
It's Whitey and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
When Joe Montana retired, he was, of course, regarded as what? The greatest of all time. Many in this area, of course, and bless you if you're one of them, still consider Joe Montana the greatest of all time. Whatever.
Is that what people from Boston sound like to you?
Forno's Forno.
It's Whitey and Watkins from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sactown Sports.
It's the model year-end sales event at Acura of Stockton. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Lease a new Acura RDX or MDX. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton or AcuraofStockton.com, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
It ignites something inside of you.
Lightning and the thunder.
Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
When you're young, life is full of choices. Don't let opioids like highly addictive and deadly fentanyl take away your life and your choices with just one wrong pill. Addiction is a disease that can affect anyone at any age, but there is a choice to get help for this disease. Find medically proven treatment options, including virtual, at choosemat.org.
The Amish have a reputation for craftsmanship, determination, and quality. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. You know, those virtues sound quite similar to the Keys family and the day-to-day values on display at Naturewood. The Amish furniture craftsmanship begins with the finest hardwood, shaping and molding the raw materials into one-of-a-kind art. In addition to the classic styles long sought and revered by discriminating furniture lovers, Naturewood Home Furnishings offers a vast selection that includes transitional, modern, farmhouse, arts and crafts, and other stunning styles, all available in the ultimate Amish standard of excellence built over centuries. All Naturewood Amish furniture is on sale right now for a limited time. Let the Naturewood team guide you through their selection of Amish furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kip Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kip Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sactown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines heading in tomorrow's Thursday night game. You got Brandon Ayuk questionable, right, Gary? He's officially listed as questionable, and Saquon Barkley, believe it or not, is declared he's out. He's not playing in a game. Yesterday, we all thought, wow, I guess he's going to play, right? Because the Giants were playing it close to the vest, and we said, me. Yeah, but no Saquon Barkley tomorrow.
I think Thomas is questionable for the Niners as well.
Oh, Ambry Thomas?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we look forward to that one tomorrow. Also today, the Giants falling to the Arizona Diamondbacks 7-1. And as we said earlier, we don't pretend to know everything that's going on here. Alan Williams resigning as a defensive coordinator of the Chicago Bears. He says he's resigning for health reasons, but there are some really interesting things going on there involving rumors of police raids at Hallis Hall. So we don't know all of that story. We just know that the defensive coordinator of the Bears is stepping down today, and that's a story that bears further watching.
Hey, how about this? And I know we have Bears fans in the listening audience, and I don't mean to be piling on because I have some good friends that are like diehard.
It sounds to me, frankly, like you do. It sounds to me like you're
okay. So
I'm ready to throw the flag here.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to go all in. I'm not going to tippy-toe here. This is a franchise that fired Lovie Smith when they went 10-6. 11 seasons later, Whitey, the Bears have had one winning record since.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Great point. Thank you for bringing that to our attention, sir. Appreciate that.
Well, I love it. Like Lovie Smith was super popular.
Yeah.
I mean, to fire, that's crazy in the NFL to fire a football coach that went 10-6.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're just asking for bad karma the rest of the way.
The football gods do not look kindly on that type of nonsense.
Yeah. Hey, and Lovie Smith outside of Chicago wasn't very good. I mean, it was a bad breakup for both sides.
All right, here I go. I'm reluctant to do this. Load management in the NBA. It's a hot topic. Again, of course, because we have the PPP, the player participation policy. I'm a baseball fan. You're a baseball fan. There's probably 3 or 4 baseball fans out there watching right now and listening. In baseball, 162 games, players take days off all the time. You know, if you go to a day game after a night game, you go to a Saturday, we're going to go see Barry Bonds. You might not see Barry Bonds. We're going to see Buster Posey today. Well, Buster caught last night. You're not going to see Buster Posey. That's the way it is. Why can't we accept that basketball players also need days off? They just, it's too many games for them to play physically. They benefit from taking games off. Why can't we accept that in basketball like we do in baseball?
Hold on. Are you on the, you play, he gets hurt because he plays too much or he wears down. And you're also making the argument of play less?
Well, I'm saying players need to, they go hand in hand. I think it's the same thing.
So
I'm saying I think we should accept load management because basketball players, they need that physical, I hate the term load management, rest. They need rest. Why can't basketball players rest like baseball players sometimes? Hey, today's shortstop's off. Well, of course he is. He's shortstop. He needs a day off.
You don't play. You play half the number of games.
Yeah, but you also play a lot harder. Would you agree? Playing 48 minutes of an NBA game is a slightly more strenuous than playing shortstop for 9 innings.
I'll give you that. So here's a solution as a fan. And I know this won't happen because it's all about money. This would be solved if we played less regular season games, but I know that's not going to happen because
I agree with you on that. I'm with you on that.
The owners can't afford to chop 20 games off, okay, to go to 62, where you have more of a race to the postseason when you're playing less games, but they're not going to do that. So we have to find a solution here. And I'm with you on guys do have to take a night off. I think some teams, and I think it's teams more than players sometimes, abuse this system. But also, I had a case. So I was in town. I was in Indianapolis when LeBron was with Cleveland. And I had tickets to go see the Cavs and the Pacers, and I was going with a buddy who lives in Indianapolis, Whitey, and he had not seen LeBron in person. And I've seen him a couple of times. And so I'm like, let's go. So we got, we paid up. We got some nice seats. And about 2 hours before tip-off, it comes out that LeBron's not playing. Okay, I don't want to see the Cavs without LeBron. That's why I bought the tickets to go see LeBron. That's one of the things I have with load management is a fan may only go to one King game a year. Mm-hmm. They want to go see the Lakers, or let's say when the Sixers roll into town, they want to go see Embiid.
Better example because they only come once. But yeah I'm with
you. So you are a Kings fan first, and then you're a Sixers fan. Maybe you're a transplant living in Sacramento, and you spend the money because it's not cheap to go to one Kings game, and you are all excited. You got your Embiid jersey on, and you get to the arena, and you read on Twitter or X, Embiid is going to be sitting out tonight. That's where I have a problem with this load management. It's not fair to the fans, but you're right. It's here to stay. And how do we work it where it's okay for the fans and it works for what the players want? And ultimately, that this doesn't become a house of cards, this idea of load management with the specific superstars that can sit out and can't sit out.
I don't think the way the NBA is approaching it is going to work because anybody in their right mind knows that somebody can say, we're going to load manage you tonight. So what's your deal? Your knee hurts. Yeah. Okay. That's what they used to do. I think a better solution is to try to figure out for the league to work with the players and teams. Say, look, we understand. We need you guys to be as healthy as we can. But what can we do to avoid situations like, as they call it in NBA circles, the Gary Sharp scenario? The example you just gave, right? Oh, yeah. I'm wondering if there are ways where, look, if you guys are going to rest, we just need to get that out there as soon as possible. And I would think they would especially want to do that with all the, the money that they're getting now from DraftKings and everybody who bets.
Yeah.
But look, guys, if Joel's not going to play, we need to let people know as soon as possible. Now, I know to your point, some people buy tickets way in advance because you want to make sure you get them. But Michael Jordan played with the same fervor when he came back to the Wizards. If he'd have managed his load, he probably could have played longer.
Yeah.
But in his mind, it's like, no, I got 82 games. And his knees were shot and he wore himself down and he couldn't finish the season. I think there's upside to resting players. I think if it's done right, you end up with a better product. And I think for the league to go, all right, that's it. To set these draconian rules, it looks good. It makes it look like, hey, fans, we're on your side, but it's not going to work. So what's the point?
Yeah. So who has a louder voice in furthering the cause of less load management, the fans or the TV partners?
Well, the fans have no voice, right? I mean, they barely have any voice at all.
Less butts and seats.
Mm-hmm. I know, but you get most of your money from TV.
Fair.
Yeah. I understand that too, but I think the league's approach here is, it's unrealistic. It'd be great. You're going to play all these games. No, they're not. And if I have Kawhi Leonard, come on. You think Kawhi Leonard's going to play all these games? We wouldn't want him to, and he can't. So what are you trying to do? LeBron, I'm not a LeBron fan. I will miss him, though, terribly when he's done. You don't want LeBron playing 82 games this year, do you? That means you're not going to get as much LeBron in the playoffs and next year. So I think we need to have more of a let's meet halfway sensible approach to it.
Yeah, it's always, there's another part, like I said when we first started discussing this, Whitey, it's, oh my gosh, he plays too much, or he doesn't play enough. But I also, this is, as you find out more about how this is all working and now what the NBA is doing, we also got to put the teams in the spotlight of there might be some guys that think, hey, I'm good to go. I want to play. And the team is saying, nope, you're an investment. We're thinking about April. We're thinking about May. So a really kind of a dog day of the NBA season, February after the All-Star break. Why don't you sit this one out in Sacramento? It's not a national TV game. We're good. Okay, tell that to the guy that's up in the 200 level that he just paid good. He just paid good money to watch Embiid sit on the bench in street clothes.
We are insulated from this issue here because we have a team that last year they were not interested in taking any games off. Look at Sabonis with a broken thumb. So that was great. So every game mattered. But here's the truth that the NBA is trying to obscure from us. The regular season, a lot of it doesn't matter. Now, it mattered in Sacramento, but to some of the teams, again, last year we saw teams really realizing we don't really need to take these games seriously. We just have to make the playoffs. And that's the truth of the matter. To a lot of teams, the regular season, it doesn't matter that much. That's a fact. But the NBA wants to pretend every game matters. We're an 82-game league. So that's really fiction that they're trying to cram down the throats of the players. And I just don't think ultimately they're going to have much success with that.
Yeah, I had this idea because I didn't like the COVID being in the bubble, but then when they came back and they started around Christmas, I thought that was ideal because we're in an NBA market and we are so excited for training camp to open in 2 weeks and for preseason games to go to Canada to play, and then the regular season is here. But outside of NBA markets, especially if you are sharing a city with an NFL team, you're probably not dialed in with the entire fan base where they're all in until around Christmas time. So I thought starting the NBA on Christmas with a grand opening day was a great idea. And, they didn't play a full schedule. I'm big on the 62 because it lessens the load management, but there's also a sense of urgency.
Yep.
Okay.
Those games would matter.
We got a race to the postseason, and almost every game matters on a decision. But it's all about money, and we won't drop 20 games to get to that point.
That makes sense. Now it loses dollars.
Okay, I know you and Chris have talked extensively about the in-season tournament. Is there a secret memo from Adam Silver of, hey, we're doing this, and we're not going to load management at any part during this tournament?
That's the subtext of the PPP, the player participation policies. They want to make sure teams take that thing seriously. Yes.
Now, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a house of cards.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that there's any real good solution that appeases TV, fans, franchises, the commissioner, or players.
Well, I think ultimately the truth is you need to play a shorter season. And at some point they're going to have to realize that. But it's going to be a long time. It's going to take them a long time to come around to that.
Well, look we make money. Look at the NFL is adding games. We're going to get to 18 NFL regular season games before you know it.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL is expanding their schedule. Baseball baseball, that's a discussion as well of why can't we drop off like 12 games, get down to 150. And the owners are saying, no, I need 162. Yeah, the NBA is saying, no, I need 82. Even though in the NHL and the NBA, they probably would benefit from a shortened regular season schedule and then maybe make a bigger postseason.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only other solution I can think of, and might be silly, is LeBron James not playing tonight, but AI LeBron James will be playing. So, you'll get to see artificial intelligence LeBron. It'll be very much, in some ways, better than the original. So you'll still get your money's worth.
Hey, I would have loved that when we were in Indianapolis because he didn't even come out of the locker room.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that is one of the things, and I know we got a break here, of the player participation policy now. If you don't play, you have to be in full view of everyone. That's actually one of the rules that they're handing down so that people don't wonder, where is he? Oh, he's right there. He's resting. I don't know.
Yeah, he never came out of the locker room. We were bummed.
I think that probably is because of you. But coming up next, Shaq's stunning comp for Deion Sanders. Did you hear about this? Amazing. And it's next on Sactown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by the Arnold Law Firm.
I'm meteorologist Heather Waldman in the KCRA Weather Center. Breezy on the west side of the Sacramento Valley tonight with some gusts to 30 miles per hour. We'll be starting off Thursday in the 50s, ending in the mid-80s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA News and the KCRA app.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down in a heartbeat. So remember to be a little more alert on the road and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com. 0
down with approved credit.
Attention, all tool shoppers. Get ready for the biggest DeWalt sale event of the year at Fasteners Inc. Sacramento this Saturday, September 23rd. We're bringing you the best deals on DeWalt products you've ever seen for one day only, including impact drivers for $59, combo kits for as low as $179, and up to $2,000 off your order with instant cashback rewards. Again, that's this Saturday only, September 23rd. Come on down and get better tools for better prices at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet. Find us at 6701 Power Inn Road and learn more at fastenersinc.net.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports' IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com and sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's film at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916, Sactown Sports.
Got the 49ers and the Giants tomorrow night. So tomorrow's game day. It's been fun yesterday with Gary Sharp. Listen, Gary, before we get any further, seriously, I just want to say, rather than, try to get something in before we have to go, thanks. Last couple of days been a lot of fun. It's been great working with you. We're not working together tomorrow, and I just appreciate it very much. It's been a lot of fun, and I appreciate your professionalism and your dry wit and your knowledge that you bring to the program here. So
well, I appreciate that. This has been a lot of fun. I appreciate all of our listeners and all the interaction. Now I know Steven, Arthur, Mega Dark Knight, Derek.
Friends for life.
Hey, it's a great community online. That is fantastic. That's what I've gotten to know about Sactown Sports is that community is like fun and everybody knows each other, even though they probably never met each other in person. But they, as you said, the smartest sports talk audience in America, and I absolutely agree. But I've enjoyed it the last 3 days.
Yeah. Did I say 2 days? It has been 3 days, hasn't it? Yeah. I missed a day. One of the days, I guess, wasn't as good, but thank you.
It was a warm-up.
No, thank you. Seriously. Appreciate it very much. You're a big college football guy. What do you make of Deion Sanders and the incredible impact that he's had here?
We've never seen anything like this in college football. So 3 of the 5 highest-rated games have involved Colorado this year. And this is not – they're 3-0, but they're not a great team. I think they're probably a 500 team, which is better than most people thought. I've always been enamored by Deion because I like winners. Okay, I'm attracted to people that win because I'm trying to figure out why they win. And Deion has always won in his entire life. I think he is the best CEO in college football. I don't think he's the best coach. I think he's the best CEO because I don't think that he does a lot of X's and O's. He is the CEO that made some great hires on his staff, and his job is to construct a roster and manage and motivate a roster, and he has done that fantastic. And, I mean, are they the Miami of the 80s and 90s where it's celebrity row? Or, you remember, you knew this. Remember when USC was rolling under Pete Carroll and their sidelines would be packed with all of the alums and friends of USC football? That's kind of what Colorado has become.
By the way, Deion Sanders, it never ceases to amaze me, and I know it, but still every so often you talk about Prime and his history, and you look in, and I forget what a great baseball player he was. Yeah. He was phenomenal, and even though it was kind of almost a side job, which baseball you're not supposed to be able to do as a side job because it's really hard, and he was he was an excellent baseball player, and he could have been even better if that's really what he focused on. It's incredible.
He's everywhere. He's on podcasts. He was on Good Morning America with Strahan today. He was on the 2 pregame shows that were in Boulder last week. Somebody asked him, it might have been, he was on 60 Minutes Sunday night.
Yes.
Whitey. They asked him, which is harder, football or baseball? And he didn't even hesitate, and he said baseball.
Yeah,
he said trying to hit a baseball is tougher than anything he did in football.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. Look at not a fair comparison, but Michael in baseball, but Deion, it was a really good baseball player, even though it was kind of a part-time job. Remember Brian Jordan too? Remember him?
Yes.
Oh my
and
goodness.
He also played defensive back.
Yeah.
He was not a bad baseball player, but he was also in the time of you had Bo and Deion and other athletes were doing this. And he does gets forgotten.
Yeah, but Deion, incredible, and this was an incredible comparison that Shaquille O'Neal made. Shaq was talking to TMZ, and he was talking about the game last week against Colorado State. Shaq says, when they were down 15, there was a camera panned to Deion's face, and it reminded me of Phil Jackson. And I've always said, if the general doesn't panic, the troops don't panic. How about that comp? Deion compared to Phil Jackson by a guy who would know, Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, Phil Jackson is one of the most chill guys on the sidelines I think I can ever recall.
Yeah, you guys work it out yourself. I'm not calling a timeout. Figure it out for yourselves.
I could see that. I will say this, like that game, and he's referencing the Colorado State game where they were 24-point favorites and they got pushed overtime. And the game was juiced up a little bit. It was at night. It was a rivalry. There was some cheap stuff that was going on throughout the game. He did not lose his composure. But I've always said this, Whitey, is I think there are 2 personas. There is the Deion, which is really, really good. And then he goes into the character of Prime. And that's where you get the branding and all of the just the outlandish stuff and it becomes a reality show. I like more of Deion than I like Prime. But on the sidelines the other night, what Shaq is referring to, that was Deion. He was pretty calm because he could have been losing his mind because they weren't playing very well.
I think one of the most impressive things to me about what he's doing this year is it's readily apparent. This has probably always been true. I just didn't know it. But to accomplish what he's accomplished with this team, I mean, you have to really understand people. You have to understand how to motivate people in some ways, as a coach, how to manipulate people. And you can't do that if you don't have a real innate sense of what makes people tick. And you got to be really keen and smart to do that. And it's clear that in addition, and I didn't think he was dumb or anything, but just like, man, on top of everything else, this guy's really, really sharp and he really knows people.
Yeah, you're right. But I don't think that works like in the NFL. That's why I think he's perfect for college, is because he connects with kids on a level that most can't, because I think he's honest with them. I think that's a big thing in college sports is you have coaches that are not honest with players, and so they lead them down a path, and that path doesn't end up so well. He's up front, as we've all seen, because the entire program is on the internet. He's honest, and he also is this. I think we have because he's unique, it's an uncomfortable conversation because he's not the run-of-the-mill college football coach. He is who he is, and he doesn't care what you think. And sometimes we get comfortable with that when people are comfortable in their own skin. We say, hey, have your own identity, but then we knock them. But Deion doesn't care, and that's what he's doing, and it's working for him. There's only one Deion. Nobody else can be like Deion. And nobody can do what he did at Colorado. He impacted Colorado football. I don't think he impacts how college football is moving forward, but CU has got the biggest return on investment in hiring him, and who knows how long he'll be there.
The only person I know who's seen more college football than you is Paul Feinbaum, and it's close.
Paul.
Yeah. He was on today with Greeny on ESPN, and Mike Greenberg asked him, what do you think of this Deion phenomenon? And he said he's never seen anything like it.
Yep.
Just the way it's, he's drawing all the attention. College football is focused on him because this is such a great story. And as great as the last 2 weeks have been, the next 2 weeks are going to be pretty entertaining as well.
Yeah, Oregon, USC. Look at you, Whitey. I know you like college football, but you're not a diehard college football fan. But you now pay attention to one team in college football because of one guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, 2 teams, Sac State.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not a bad team to pay attention to.
Mm-hmm. An amazing story. All right, Gary, wrapping things up here. The 49ers tomorrow night against the New York Giants. You've convinced me there's no chance 49ers can lose this game. And if I, legally can get the line down to 10, if I only have to give 10, that's a great bet, right?
Yep, and you'll put a fence up in your backyard with your winnings.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Gary. It's been a lot of fun. I look forward to our next time together.
Thanks, Whitey.
Yeah. Thank you all for being with us here. Back tomorrow, game day on Sactown Sports. I'll be on tomorrow afternoon with FP Jr. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here on Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the